സുധാകരനൊക്കെ പറയാൻ ഒത്തിരി കേട്ടിട്ടുണ്ട്, പക്ഷെ നമ്മൾ തമ്മിൽ ഇതുവരെ കാണാൻ കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ടില്ല. ഞാൻ ഗിഫ്റ്റിന്റെ ഡയറക്ടറാണ്, KJ ജോസഫ്. അപ്പം തുടങ്ങാം, നമുക്ക് മിനിസ്റ്റർ വന്നുകൊണ്ടൊക്കെ തുടങ്ങാമല്ലോ. തുടങ്ങല്ലേ മിരാഷ്? തുടങ്ങല്ലേ? കിലയും ഹരിത കേരള മിഷനും ഗുലാത്തി ഇൻസ്റ്റിറ്റ്യൂട്ട് ഓഫ് ഫൈനാൻസ് ആൻഡ് ടാക്സേഷനും കൂടി സംയുക്തമായി ഓർഗനൈസ് ചെയ്യുന്ന 8ാമത്തെ നാഷണൽ വെബിനാർ സീരീസിലേക്ക് എല്ലാവരെയും സ്വാഗതം ചെയ്യുകയാണ്. ഒരിക്കൽ കൂടി നിങ്ങൾക്ക് എല്ലാവർക്കും നല്ലൊരു ഓണം എല്ലാവരും നല്ലൊരു ഓണം ആഘോഷിച്ചെന്ന് കരുതിയാണ്, കൊറോണയ്ക്ക് ആയിരുന്നുവെങ്കിലും. ഈ ആഴ്ച നമ്മൾ വിദ്യാഭ്യാസ മേഖലയിൽ ഉള്ള ലോക്കൽ സെൽഫ് ഗവൺമെൻറ് ഏജൻസീസിൻ്റെ ഇടപെടലുകളെ കുറിച്ചാണ് ചർച്ച ചെയ്യുക. ഈ പ്രാവശ്യം പ്രസന്റേഷൻസ് നടത്തുന്നത് വാടാനപ്പള്ളി ഗ്രാമപഞ്ചായത്ത് ഫ്രം തൃശ്ശൂർ, വെള്ളിയമറ്റം ഗ്രാമപഞ്ചായത്ത് ഫ്രം ഇടുക്കി, കുമരകം ഗ്രാമപഞ്ചായത്ത് ഫ്രം കോട്ടയം, രാമപുരം ഗ്രാമപഞ്ചായത്ത് ഫ്രം കോട്ടയം, ഇരവിപേരൂർ ഗ്രാമപഞ്ചായത്ത് ഫ്രം പത്തനംതിട്ട, പിന്നെ മലപ്പുറം ഡിസ്ട്രിക്ട് പഞ്ചായത്ത്. In English, okay, that's right, yeah. We have the panelists, Dr. Anita Rampal, former Dean of Education, University of Delhi. Then we have Dr. Niranjan Aradhya, Senior Fellow and Program Head, Universal of Equitable Quality Education Program, National Law University, Bangalore. And we have Mr. Jeevan Babu IAS, CEO, Education Rejuvenation Mission, Kerala. So we are extremely happy to have Professor C. Raveendranath, who has been very well known to all of you within Kerala and outside for his incredible commitment to education and the series of very innovative initiatives that he has taken, which in turn, to say the least, made remarkable transformation or unprecedented transformation in the school education of Kerala. Sir, we are extremely happy to welcome you, and we are extremely happy that you could find time to be with us. So I would like to invite Professor C. Raveendranath, Minister of Education, Kerala, Government of Kerala, to inaugurate this 8th national webinar organized by KILA, Harida Kerala Mission and Govt. Over to you, Professor Sri Raveendranath.
Thank you. Dear friends, this webinar is very, very important as far as the education sector of Kerala is concerned, because that is well connected to the local self-governments. Here, we know that really Kerala is a model in both decentralization and education. Decentralization is a process in which there is democratization of the existing governments. Or in other words, decentralization is nothing but democratization of the existing governments. Before 1996, that means the People's Campaign, there were 2 governments in the country, one the central government and 2 the state government. But after the decentralization People's Campaign, now we have 3 governments. That is the central government, then state government, and locally there is a government, that is the local self-government. Though this is the democratization process, and therefore the local self-government is the most democratic form of a people's government. So that local self-government is a reality in Kerala. That self-government, that means local self-government, has ecological reign in the development sector. That is nothing but to promote the sustainable development. In other words, the democratic government, that means the local self-government, will try to promote the sustainable government concept. This is the concept of local self-government in Kerala that will promote the sustainable development. Then one question arises. What is the sustainable development? What is meant by sustainable development? That has 4 parts. 1, increase of production. We will say in the national concept GDP growth rate, in the state concept GSDP growth rate, etc., etc. The first part of the sustainable development is increase of production or increase in the wealth. So the local self-government will lead to this particular area, that means the production area, especially in the paddy sector, agriculture, etc. Now the second term, second concept comes. That is nothing but distribution of wealth. The first part is increase of wealth, increase in production. The next part is redistribution of that increased wealth. This is to avoid the divide in the panchayats. So this part is very, very important as far as the sustainable development is concerned. Redistribution of wealth. In the private sector, or as far as the privatization is concerned, there's only production of, that is increase of production, increase of wealth. There will be no sector to redistribute that wealth. So that will be accumulated. And due to the accumulation of wealth, there will be divide. And now that is the main problem all over the world, great divide. So to avoid that particular problem, sustainable development concept gives this particular idea, that is redistribution of wealth. So we can avoid the divide in the Grama Panchayat, that means the local area. Then third concept, the production is increased, that increased wealth is being distributed throughout the panchayat. And the third one is ecological balance. Very, very important as far as sustainable development is concerned. And the fourth one is social security. So in these 4 sectors, a Grama Panchayat, a local self-government, can intervene very, very, very well. So sustainable development is possible in a Grama Panchayat under a local self-government. In Kerala, we can see several Grama Panchayats, several hundreds of Grama Panchayats, which are intervening like this. Beautiful, beautiful. We can see good models of sustainable developments in different panchayats. Very good. Then this decentralization and this particular sustainable development concepts, these concepts are very closely related to the public education. That means a local self-government has to do several things in the public education. what are the connections between these three? That means decentralization, sustainable development, and education. In Kerala, now we are promoting public education. Public education. What is meant by public education? Nothing but government is intervening in the education sector. Or in other words, education is not privatized. That is coming under the government. So there is also another people's campaign that is related to the habitat, that is specific to the habitat. So a local self-government has a very good role in this particular concept. That means public education. Government is intervening. Local self-government is intervening. The schools are coming under these self-governments, local self-governments. So this public education is a particular education sector, because all over the world we can see modernization and commercialization, also privatization. But in Kerala, we can see modernization and the intervention of the government, not privatization. This is the difference between the modernization of education all over the world and the modernization of education in Kerala. Here only, government intervenes completely in education. It's not at all privatized. So local self-governments can also intervene very well in the public education, because the state government is intervening in the education. So local self-governments, which are produced like this through the decentralization process, they can very well intervene in the public education. Then this public education gives a new idea of production, that means productive sector. Collectively you can produce. That production sector is also commercialized and privatized all over the world. In Kerala, since there is public education, we can give the idea of production in the public sector. So that production, you can increase the production with the help of people, with the help of the local self-governments. So there is a connection between production and the public education. So using this concept, local self-governments can intervene in the productive sector and increase production. That production will be of the Grama Panchayat. It's not related to a particular person. That is the wealth of the Panchayat. That is the wealth of the Grama Panchayat. Then the next concept, public sector education is the best instrument. I will say public sector in education is the best instrument to redistribute wealth. Education for all. Best education for all. Latest education for all. This is a good idea of a model of redistribution of wealth. So public education and sustainable development are very closely connected. So this redistribution of wealth can be attained. That goal can be attained through public education. Sure, public health, public distribution system, all these are similarly placed. Now we are talking about the public education. Therefore, this public education is a very good instrument, it's a tool to redistribute wealth. So, education that is used for production, that's closely connected to the production, then that wealth is redistributed in the this Gram Panchayat itself, that means that locality itself, through public education, So there is redistribution of wealth. So this is the connection between sustainable development and education, decentralization and education, etc. Then comes ecological balance. This is very closely connected to public education. Because in the public education sector in Kerala, we focus on the ecological balance. Biodiversity park, it's a new concept. It's a new global concept. That concept is developing in the campus, school campus. The school campus is now a textbook that is converted into a biodiversity park. That means that habitat, that means the habitat of the school itself is a good model of the ecological balance. That gives an idea to the student, that gives idea to the mind of student. Yes, this is the ecological model of ecological balance. So a local self-government can develop biodiversity parks in all the school campuses, and that will give a new idea of the ecological balance. Then fourth one, social security. Public education itself is the best social security. Education for all. No student is outside the education sector. All students are coming to the mainstream. So that gives a good idea of public security. No one is out of the sphere. All are inside the sphere because the education is in the public sector. Free education, modern education. So social security is also connected to the public education. In short, all the concepts of sustainable developments are very, very, very closely related to the public education sector, and the local self-governments can improve the public education. Thereby, they can improve the concept of sustainable development, and they can develop several ideas outside this sphere. So they can create unique models. They can create beautiful models. And several Gram Panchayats, I'm sure in Kerala, are doing the same thing. Several examples are there. Here in this webinar, I think 10 or 12 Gram Panchayats are there. They're giving their models. No doubt, all the models will be inside this sphere. Congratulations. All the local self-governments should be in this direction. The development goal should be in the sustainable development direction. That is an alternative. Because all over the world, the development is moving in the opposite direction, which destroys the ecology, which destroys the production. So, local self-government should create models which are the models for all other countries. Therefore, this webinar gives clear-cut idea of the relation between education and sustainable development, thereby good idea of the real decentralization. Thank you. I declare this webinar open.
Sir, unmute.
Thank you, Professor Raveendranath. For those viewers who doesn't know his background, he has been a champion of People's Plan campaign right from the very beginning. And he has been he was part of the core team of the People's Plan campaign. And he was the coordinator, the district level coordinator of the People's Plan campaign in the beginning. So that is from where he comes. Today, it's also, thank you, sir, for being with us and also for that inspiring speech and giving the conceptual framework for how we need to go forward also. Thank you, sir. Today is also the Teachers' Day, and all our wishes and greetings to all our teachers. Now we move to the presentations. We start with Vadanapalli Grama Panchayat from Thrissur district.
Start, yeah.
Start, yeah.
വാടാനപ്പള്ളി പഞ്ചായത്തിന് നേരിട്ടുള്ള സംരക്ഷണത്തിലുള്ള ഗവൺമെൻറ് ഫിഷറീസ് UP സ്കൂള് ഈ ഭരണസമിതി അധികാരത്തിൽ വരുന്ന സമയത്ത് ആ സ്കൂളിലെ ഭൗതിക സാഹചര്യങ്ങൾ ഏറെ ശോചനീയമായിട്ടുള്ളൊരവസ്ഥയിലായിരുന്നു. അതുപോലെ തന്നെ അവിടുത്തെ കുട്ടികളുമായി ബന്ധപ്പെട്ടുകൊണ്ടുള്ള എണ്ണത്തിൽ വളരെ പിന്നോക്കം നിൽക്കുന്ന ഒരു അവസ്ഥയാണ് ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നത്. ഈ പ്രശ്നങ്ങളൊക്കെ തന്നെ പരിഹരിക്കുന്നതിന് വേണ്ടി സമഗ്രമായ ഒരു ഇടപെടലാണ് പഞ്ചായത്തിന്റെ ഭാഗത്തുനിന്ന് ആദ്യഘട്ടത്തിൽ തന്നെ ഉണ്ടായിട്ടുള്ളത്.
Vadanapalli Grama Panchayat is located in Talikulam block of Chavakkadu Taluk in Thrissur district. The panchayat covers an area of 13.18 square kilometer. The total population of the panchayat is 27,003 in 18 wards with a literacy rate of 94.13. Vadanapalli Grama Panchayat is an area with no hills or slopes. It is a small coastal village on the coastal belt of Thrissur district. Vadanapalli Grama Panchayat has been able to make great changes in the field of public education. The panchayat is improving the required physical conditions and upgrading the school to international standards. The panchayat is implementing a number of activities to improve the physical conditions of the schools, thereby improve the quality of education. Panchayats also pay keen interest in improving the academic facilities of the school. As a part of education mission under Navakerala project of Government of Kerala, the Grama Panchayat were able to provide basic infrastructure facilities like renovation of kitchen in the school, dining hall constructions, organic waste decomposing unit, smart classrooms, office renovation, cycle sheds, etc. On every month, Panchayat Education Committee will conduct a meeting to analyze the status of academic and infrastructure facilities provided to the school.
സ്കൂളിന് വേണ്ടിയിട്ട് സദാ ജാഗരൂകരാണ് പ്രസിഡന്റും മറ്റംഗങ്ങളും ഭാരവാഹികളും എല്ലാം തന്നെ. നമ്മുടെ സ്കൂളിൻ്റെ ഉയർച്ചയ്ക്ക് വേണ്ടിയിട്ട് ഭൗതികമായ സാഹചര്യങ്ങൾ മെച്ചപ്പെടുത്തുന്നതിന് വേണ്ടിയിട്ട് ഒരുപാട് കാര്യങ്ങൾ അവർ ചെയ്തു തരുന്നുണ്ട്.
Earmarked achievements of the Panchayat in education sector are renovation of school kitchen, dining hall in school, organic waste decomposing unit, setting up of smart classrooms, office renovation, cycle sheds, construction of sanitary complex, distribution of sanitary napkins, increase in the number of enrollment in first standard.
Thank you, Vadanapalli Grama Panchayat. Now we move on to Ramapuram Grama Panchayat. Ramapuram.
രാമപുരം പഞ്ചായത്തിൻ്റെ കീഴിലുള്ള എല്ലാ ഗവൺമെൻറ് സ്കൂളുകളും ഹൈടെക്കാണ് എന്ന് സൂചിപ്പിക്കുന്നത്. അപ്പോൾ അവിടെ നമ്മുടെ സ്കൂളുകളൊക്കെ തന്നെ ഭൗതിക സൗകര്യങ്ങളിൽ ഏറ്റവും മുൻപന്തിയിലാണ്. ക്ലാസ് റൂമുകളൊക്കെ വളരെ മനോഹരമായിട്ട് എല്ലാ ക്ലാസ് റൂമുകളും ടൈൽ വിരിച്ച്, അതോടൊപ്പം തന്നെ കുട്ടികൾക്ക് ആവശ്യമായിട്ടുള്ള ഫാൻ സൗകര്യങ്ങൾ, ലൈറ്റ് സൗകര്യങ്ങൾ, നല്ല സെപ്പറേഷൻ വാളുകൾ, ഇതെല്ലാം ഭംഗിയായിട്ട് അത് പുതിയതായിട്ട് ചെയ്യുവാൻ പഞ്ചായത്തിന് കഴിഞ്ഞു.
Ramapuram Grama Panchayat is located in Uravur block of Meenachil Taluk in Kottayam district. Panchayat covers an area of 54.54 square kilometer and a population of 28,708 in 18 wards. The total literacy rate of Panchayat is 95. Ramapuram Grama Panchayat is selected as second best Grama Panchayat in obtaining biostatus in 2017. Panchayat also got Matsya Samudya Award of Fisheries Department of Government of Kerala in 2014. Grama Panchayat has set up smart classrooms in the government schools as part of the child-friendly project to make the teaching process easier, which can be utilized by all students in the Panchayat.
ഹൈസ്കൂളുകളോടൊപ്പം തന്നെ കേരളത്തിലെ എല്ലാ പ്രൈമറി വിദ്യാലയങ്ങളെയും അന്താരാഷ്ട്ര നിലവാരത്തിലേക്ക് ഉയർത്തുന്നതിന് വേണ്ടിയുള്ള നടപടികൾ നടത്തിക്കൊണ്ടിരിക്കുകയാണ്. അതിന് ആദ്യപടിയായിട്ട് എല്ലാ പഞ്ചായത്തിലെയും ഓരോ പ്രൈമറി സ്കൂളിനെ പൈലറ്റ് സ്കൂളായി തിരഞ്ഞെടുത്തിട്ടുണ്ട്. 2017-18 വർഷത്തിൽ രാമപുരം പഞ്ചായത്തിലെ പൈലറ്റ് സ്കൂളായി തിരഞ്ഞെടുത്തിരിക്കുന്നത് നമ്മുടെ കൊണ്ടാട് ഗവൺമെന്റ് എൽ പി സ്കൂളിലാണ്.
Ramapuram Grama Panchayat, in association with IT at School Mission, has set up smart classrooms in all the government schools successfully. When stories, poem and other lessons are presented in the smart classrooms, children follow them in a most enjoyable way. Moreover, it simplifies the work of teachers. This helps to make the study time fun and effortless. It also helps to take the children from a boring environment to an energetic atmosphere, which promote their other abilities also. In such smart classrooms, where lessons are more experimental, can have a huge impact on children. Effective use of smart classroom will help the children to keep their cognitive vision intact. Ramapuram Grama Panchayat has provided laptop, screens, projectors, overhead projector in every schools. The smart classrooms will help the children to manage computers and other equipments by themselves. Such classrooms will provide opportunities for children to learn and share things. The smart classrooms will become actually smart when the windows are open for entertainment as well as knowledge. As an outcome of improvement in the standard of education, students' enrollment in the first standard has increased by 5% than the previous year. It has set up butterfly garden in the Kirtiri Government LP School. They were able to convey the message of conserving biodiversity to the students.
Thank you. Thank you, Ramapuram Grama Panchayat. Now we move on to Iraviperur Grama Panchayat, where they are taking a different initiative. Please, Iraviperur Grama Panchayat.
പഞ്ചായത്ത് തലത്തിലെ സ്പോർട്സ് കൗൺസിൽ എന്നുള്ളത് സംസ്ഥാനത്തെ ഒരു ആദ്യത്തെ ആശയമാണ്. 2017 ഇത് ആരംഭിക്കുമ്പോൾ ആ പ്രാവശ്യത്തെ പദ്ധതി ഗൈഡ് ലൈനകത്ത് യൂത്ത് കോർഡിനേഷൻ എന്നുള്ള നിലയ്ക്കൊരു പ്രോജക്റ്റ് പറഞ്ഞിരുന്നു. ചെറുപ്പക്കാരുടെ എല്ലാം ഒരു പൊതുവേദി, അവരുടെ കായികപരമായ, ശാരീരികമായ, മാനസികമായ മെച്ചപ്പെട്ട അവസ്ഥ, സാംസ്കാരികമായ പ്രവർത്തനങ്ങൾ, ഇതെല്ലാം ചേർന്ന് വരുന്നു. അങ്ങനെയാണ് ഇതൊരു പതുക്കെ നമ്മളൊരു പുതിയ കായിക സംസ്കാരം കെട്ടിപ്പടുക്കുന്ന, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ നഷ്ടപ്പെട്ടതിനെ വീണ്ടെടുക്കുന്ന പ്രവർത്തനത്തിലേക്കാണ് ഇപ്പോൾ സ്പോർട്സ് കൗൺസിൽ ലക്ഷ്യം വെച്ച് പോകുന്നത്.
Iraviperur Grama Panchayat, located at Tiruvalla Taluk in Pathanamthitta district, which covers an area of 18.64 square kilometer and a population of 24,558 in 17 wards. The literacy rate of Grama Panchayat is 96.84. The topography of Iraviperur Grama Panchayat include both plain and hilly areas, which is suitable for agriculture. The model of Panchayat has won the Prime Minister's Best Public Administration Award, is being followed by 14 states. Sports is one of the essential components of intelligence and health. Sports Council of Iraviperur Grama Panchayat is an exemplary project which promotes sports in the Panchayat. With the message of sports for all, Iraviperur Grama Panchayat has formed Sports Council to inspire all athletes in that area. Office bearers, courts, students should be from the home panchayat is the only mandatory condition put forward by the Sports Council. From July 1st, 2019 onwards, the football coaching camp was started under the Sports Council. Screening were conducted in 2 batches, for children below 12 years and other for the children below 14 years. Around 390 children were participated in the screening. Out of that, around 130 children were selected for the coaching camp. The wages and the accommodation facilities for the trainers under the Sports Council are provided by the Panchayat. With the support of officials, trainers and the Panchayat, the Sports Council is conducting coaching camps twice in a week. With the help of Panchayat, the Sports Council were able to provide food and other equipments like corn marker, space marker, hurdles for their children.
കഴിഞ്ഞ കുറച്ച് നാളായിട്ട് വലിയ ആഗ്രഹമായിരുന്നു ഒരു ലോങ് ജമ്പ് പിറ്റ്. ആ സ്വപ്നം ഇവിടെ പൂവണിഞ്ഞു. വർഷങ്ങളായിട്ട് വളരെ ദൂരെയുള്ള ചങ്ങനാശ്ശേരി SB കോളേജിൻ്റെ ഗ്രൗണ്ടിലും അതുപോലെ തന്നെ ചങ്ങനാശ്ശേരി അസംഷൻ കോളേജിൻ്റെ ഗ്രൗണ്ടിലും ഒക്കെ പോയി ഒത്തിരി പാടുപെട്ട് ട്രെയിനിങ് ചെയ്തിട്ടുള്ള കാലഘട്ടങ്ങൾ ഓർക്കുന്നു. ആ കാലഘട്ടങ്ങൾക്കൊക്കെ ഒരു വിരാമം കുറിച്ചുകൊണ്ട് ഇന്ന് സ്പോർട്സ് കൗൺസിലിൻ്റെതായിട്ടുള്ള പഞ്ചായത്ത് സ്പോർട്സ് കൗൺസിലിൻ്റെ ആയിട്ടുള്ള ഇരുവേറൂർ പഞ്ചായത്തിന് സ്വന്തമായിട്ടൊരു ലോങ് ജമ്പ് പിറ്റാണ് നമുക്കിവിടെ കാണുന്നത്.
Hostels were under the construction for the students coming from far places, which helped them to ease their traveling burden. Two coaching centers under the Sports Council have been started is the evidence to the success of this project.
ഈ വർഷത്തെ പദ്ധതി ഗൈഡ് ലൈനകത്ത് സ്റ്റേറ്റിലെ മുഴുവൻ പഞ്ചായത്തുകളും സ്പോർട്സ് കൗൺസിൽ പഞ്ചായത്ത് തല സ്പോർട്സ് കൗൺസിൽ രൂപീകരിക്കണം എന്ന ഉത്തരവ് ഗവൺമെൻറ് പുറപ്പെടുവിച്ചു എന്നുള്ളിടത്താണ് ഇരുവേറൂർ സ്പോർട്സ് കൗൺസിലിൻ്റെ വേറിട്ട പ്രവർത്തനം മാതൃകയാകുന്നത്.
Thank you, Iruverur Gram Panchayat. Now we move on to Velliyamattam Gram Panchayat in Idukki district. Over to Velliyamattam Gram Panchayat.
Velliyamattam Grama Panchayat has a story to tell about a village taking over a school by its own. That is what brought UNICEF to Pumalal Tribal School.
ഈ 2017-18 സാമ്പത്തിക വർഷം തന്നെ 45 ലക്ഷം രൂപ മുടക്കി 4 ഹൈടെക് ക്ലാസ് റൂമുകൾ അതേപോലെ തന്നെ കുട്ടികൾക്ക് ഉച്ചഭക്ഷണം കഴിക്കുന്നതിന് വേണ്ടി ഒരു കിച്ചൺ, ഡൈനിങ് ഹാള്, അതുപോലെ തന്നെ ഗേൾസ് കുട്ടികൾക്ക് വേണ്ടി നമ്മള് ഗേൾ ഫ്രണ്ട്ലി ടോയ്ലറ്റ് അതിനനുബന്ധിച്ചുള്ള എല്ലാ സൗകര്യങ്ങളും പഞ്ചായത്ത് കൊടുക്കുന്നുണ്ട്.
The school achieving its goal with 800 students by making the community as a part of the school. 70% of children studying in this school are from the tribal area.
പരീക്ഷണമൊക്കെ ചെയ്യണമെങ്കിൽ ലാബിൽ പോകണമായിരുന്നു. ഇപ്പോൾ ഞങ്ങൾ ആദ്യം ടീച്ചർ ആദ്യം പറഞ്ഞു തരും, പിന്നെ അത് പ്രൊജക്ടറിലിട്ട് വീഡിയോ കാണിച്ചിട്ട് അത് ഏകദേശം മനസ്സിലായി കഴിഞ്ഞാണ് പിന്നെ ഞങ്ങൾ ലാബിൽ പോയി വർക്കൊക്കെ ചെയ്യുന്നത്. ബയോളജി തന്നെയാണെങ്കിൽ കോശത്തിൻ്റെ ഓരോ ഭാഗങ്ങളൊക്കെ നല്ല വ്യക്തമായിട്ട് ഞങ്ങൾക്ക് മനസ്സിലാവുന്നുണ്ട് കാര്യങ്ങൾ.
School's annual day has become a platform for the parents to show their talents. This also helps to increase the participation and support from the parent side towards the school. This was an opportunity to the common people to show their talents in a public platform.
The school has arranged combined classes for the students who do not have basic facilities at home to prepare for exams. This helped the tribal students in the nearby forest settlements. Migavin Utsavam is a cultural event conducted by the school in association with the Panchayat. Pomala School conducted cultural programs of parents to show their skills in a public platform.
Pomala Tribal School has conducted a Ayurveda camp named as Santwanam for the old-age people. The Panchayat aims to identify the strength and weakness of the children in various psychological assessments, which helps to nurture their strength and overcome their limitations through mentor mapping. This is an attempt to create a child, parent, family-friendly environment for all the children of Velliyamattam Grama Panchayat.
School has started book bank project which helps the students, those who are struggling to get proper study material.
SSLC pass percentage in Pomala School, including large number of tribal students, is increasing steadily in every year. The school got SCRT recognition based on the activities implemented in the school to improve the learning level of the children. The school has got recognition from the UNICEF for the outstanding performance of the teachers and the Panchayat. Pomala School breaking the barriers between the education and the life. The activities of Pomala School are the perfect example of how to mold socially responsible generation.
Thank you, Velliyamattam Grama Panchayat. Now we move on to Malappuram District Panchayat. Over to Malappuram District Panchayat.
2001-2 വർഷത്തിൽ മലപ്പുറം ജില്ലയുടെ സമഗ്ര വിദ്യാഭ്യാസ പുരോഗതി ലക്ഷ്യം വെച്ചുകൊണ്ട് ജില്ലാ പഞ്ചായത്ത് ആരംഭിച്ച വിദ്യാഭ്യാസ പദ്ധതിയാണ് വിജയബേരി വിദ്യാഭ്യാസ പദ്ധതി. ജനകീയ ആസൂത്രണത്തിലൂടെ തദ്ദേശ സ്വയംഭരണ സ്ഥാപനങ്ങൾക്ക് ലഭിച്ച അധികാരത്തെ ഏറ്റവും ഫലപ്രദമായിട്ട് ഉപയോഗിക്കുകയും കുറഞ്ഞ വിഭവങ്ങൾ കൊണ്ട് മികച്ച റിസൾട്ട് ഉണ്ടാക്കി സംസ്ഥാനത്ത് തന്നെ മാതൃകയാവാൻ ഈ ഒരു പ്രൊജക്റ്റിലൂടെ മലപ്പുറം ജില്ലാ പഞ്ചായത്തിന് കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ടുണ്ട്.
Malappuram is the third largest district in Kerala in terms of area and has the largest number of Grama Panchayats in Kerala. Malappuram district covers an area of 3,550 square kilometer, consists of 15 block panchayats. The panchayat has a total of 32 divisions. The total population of the panchayat is 41,12,920 with a literacy rate of 93.57. Vijayaberi is the educational project started in the academic year 2001-2002 with an objective of integrated education enhancement. The activities of Vijayaberi have been focused on high schools and later it includes the primary level schools in Malappuram district. The support and cooperation of all educational agencies like SSA, RMSA, DDE, DEO, AEO and BPO which made Vijayaberi a great success. The allotment and expenditure pattern shows that the district panchayat commitment towards education and welfare of the people in the society. Moreover, the sustainability in the project envisages that education is simply the soul of a society as it passes from one generation to another. The calendar of Vijayaberi activities was prepared for each school, which ensure that activities are carried out precisely as per the calendar. Handbooks for teachers were prepared for difficult subjects and based on the handbooks, teachers were properly trained. Under a program named Unarvu, parents' awareness campaigns were organized regularly. After every exam, comprehensive review was made and necessary remedial teaching was carried out. Special midterm and model exams were conducted in all schools. Backward schools were particularly identified and the teachers, students and parents were given necessary training. Special remedial teaching was given to students in the morning and evening in the schools. Special counseling classes were organized to prepare students to face examinations with self-assurance. Undertake awareness campaigns for parents and empowerment of teachers with the cooperation of panchayats. As a result of Vijayaberi activities, the schools shows an excellent percentage level of SSLC result in the district. The declared aim of Vijayaberi was to reach the district SSLC result percentage to the state average. This was more than achieved in 2014 as against the state result percentage of 95.4 in which Malappuram district is 95.48%. Evaluating the activities in the past years, it is clear that Vijayaberi has succeeded in producing commendable results at secondary and the primary level. It is the district panchayat's Vijayaberi project which energized the panchayat and municipalities to organize various educational programs. The district panchayat has indeed succeeded in nurturing a new educational culture through the Vijayaberi project. Moreover, it is evident that the role of local self-government institutions and its intervention in education had a transformative experience in decentralized development scenario in Kerala.
Now that all the presentations are over, we had Vadanapalli Grama Panchayat, then we had Ramapuram Grama Panchayat, Iruverur Grama Panchayat with their sports council, then we had Velliyamattam Grama Panchayat, mainly focusing on Pumala school, the tribal area school, and then Malappuram district panchayat with the Vijayaberi experience. So now we are moving into the responses of the panelists, and as panelist number 1, we have Dr. Anita Rampal, the former Dean of Education, University of Delhi, who has also been very active and still active in various educational activities, especially with regard to Bharat Gyan Samiti and all related experiences. So, Madam Anita Rampal, can you take over for your comments and suggestions and questions? Okay.
Yes. Thank you very much. Very happy to be with all of you. In fact, when I was looking at some of these presentations, I was reminded of my extensive visits in some district schools and panchayats. And especially the last one, Malappuram, I remember I spent about 10 days in Malappuram because the ministry at that time had said that, a lot of states have worked on curriculum, have worked in DPP, but no state seems to have done enough work in changing the examination pattern itself. And Kerala probably is one which has done it. So they had requested me to come and spend time and then try and document what is happening in Malappuram. And I was, in fact, what was interesting, this was around 2001, 2002, and we noticed that something was really amazing in the way the panchayats were contributing to the school renewal also. For instance, in changing the assessment pattern, which even today for our country is a big issue. I mean, that's our weakest point, trying to understand how do you assess learning. Because unless you link it with a different kind of learning, we end up with meaningless numbers and meaningless exams. Which then again whitewashes and completely dilutes what can happen in a very active classroom. So I must say that the panchayats, the way they had taken this up, and especially in Malappuram, I had seen that firsthand, was that they had also prepared a big document in Malayalam on what is assessment for after all. And they were sharing it in all the panchayats. They were asking what kinds of questions, what kind of examinations, do we need to give grades and marks, how, so it was heartening because when we noticed that there were some changes and some schools and, started going back to a very traditional pattern, because I think one of the officials had changed and he insisted that you must go for printed question papers. And then I noticed that parents came and spoke. And parents said, what is the meaning of assessment? If you just give marks, it makes no difference. If you give my child 90% or you give my child 50%, how does it help me or my child unless we understand? We understand what was required. The child understands how is she really doing? What is this understanding that she can build better? How should she be responding to a question? And so giving us feedback. So an assessment which is for learning and not just an assessment, a meaningless sort of assessment done of learning, is something the poor parents understood so well. They were so convinced that they could tell us. And they could tell us that they're unhappy that this system is being changed, because they said when the system was made more progressive, they were involved. And the panchayats were telling us that the schools used to have meetings, the school used to call them and make it very visible to them that, see, this is what children, when they write this, then this is the kind of assessment we do, and we expect, and we know that they can do better, and this is what we expect. So there was a continuous dialogue. Not only that, what I distinctly remember is that we tried to see that after this pattern, this people's assessment pattern, more participatory assessment had actually come into the schools, and the panchayats were involved in this. We wanted to see whether the way Malappuram is performing in the state scholarship exams, because there was only one state scholarship exam at grade 4, after grade 4, and one in grade 7. And the board exam was much later at grade 10. So I had asked friends in Trivandrum also and in other districts that, can we look at the data? And what was interesting, I went to the DIET, the District Institute of Educational Training, and the principal introduced Malappuram to me, DIET, as the representative of DIET, that our district comes always the 14th in all assessments in Kerala, because there is no 15th district in Kerala. And I was quite struck that, I mean, why is it that there is so much work at the ground level? I mean, why are we having identities of a district in terms of the rank that it gets? So we questioned and we looked at the scholarship exams, and we found that that was not true in the scholarship exams, class 4 and class 7, which had been changed, which were being conducted by DIETs through activities in the most active and creative manner. I mean, they were not just exams in which you memorize something and you answer over there. Everything was through activities. We noticed that Malappuram was coming second to Trivandrum. And in fact, even the number of students coming to participate in that was so high that the DIETs were themselves confused how to conduct this activity-based exam with so many thousand children coming in. So I'm just reminded of that time, of how struck we were in the role of panchayats to engage with something that was the most difficult, most challenging task of an education system, and that is to change the pattern of assessment. Because changing doesn't come only from institutions. It doesn't come only from the state level or the district level. The change has to come in our change of mindsets, in our change of opinions, in shaping the parents' opinions, in shaping the community's opinion about what matters. What is education for, and what is meaningful education? And just getting 95% doesn't mean anything unless we know what does that signify, and what was the process of learning which led to this process of assessments and this performance. It's more performance rather than marks which matter. And this is what at that time Kerala was in an effort to do. And then after that, we know that the Right to Education Act came in 2009. It was implemented in 2010. And there again, the role of the panchayats is really crucial, because in fact, now this is not a government providing something to a child. That was finished, that approach that the government, if it wants or it doesn't want, then it will provide, it shall endeavor to provide. The Article 45 in the Constitution used to say, it will try, it will endeavor to provide free and compulsory education to every child. But now the right to education was much more. It is a fundamental right. It's so, you cannot say, I have built a school, too bad that you don't come to the school. No. It clearly says that the right and the entitlement for every child is good quality education, not just anything. And it is in a neighborhood school of where the school and the local authorities will ensure, including the panchayats, they will ensure not just admission, not just attendance, but full completion with good quality. And that is where the local authorities, the local panchayats, the local governance. And Professor Raveendranath was telling us, what local governance and the role of, this is probably, he said, the most democratic form of governance at any level, amongst all the levels, this is most democratic. And so, one, I want to remind ourselves that the promise for commitment for democracy in our country in 47, when our country decided that everyone will have a vote, even though there were questions asked, because in other countries, there used to be qualifications. Someone who is educated can vote, others can't. Maybe a man can vote because the man has property and the women don't. So the women, even in so-called developed countries, got a vote much later than the men. But in our country, there was a radical commitment for democracy, and that everyone, universal participation, everyone has the right to vote, whether a person is literate, new literate, doesn't matter. And Ambedkar and our other founding visionaries had said that the process, that democracy will be a process of education, will be a process of political education, because people will vote and will not be ordered by someone like in a hierarchical structure. They will decide. And so that is a process of education, and a process of education of living together, understanding our differences, understanding disadvantage, understanding what inclusive means, because after all these people are going to shape democracy. And that promise came to us on one condition. And that condition was, within 10 years, everyone will have free and compulsory education. But unfortunately, that did not happen. So even though the democracy failed to give us that promise of good quality inclusive education, the right to education has come after 70 years of that date when the Constitution.
I think there is some technical snag at one end. We will move on to the next panelist and then come back to Dr. Anita. Okay.
Yes,
so,
I think
okay,
it's connected.
Okay, you can continue.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is the problem of the digital divide. I mean, even from big cities and well sources, we managed to lose our connection. And yet our new policy is talking about online education. I also want to say, like, just when I was talking about we will need to understand together, and the panchayats must engage with this question. What is good quality and what is inclusive quality? What is equitable quality? How do we make the public school into a democratic school? I think that's the challenge that I see for Kerala. And in fact, I had spoken to friends when I saw some schools which were called high-tech schools, or some schools are being called smart classrooms. And I just want to say that just having a computer does not make it a smart classroom. So let's not take this language which is coming from the market. A market makes us buy a smart a smart board, and then as if tell us that that's better than the blackboard, but it be used as uncreatively as an ordinary board. So let's not get taken up by these labels or these brandings that are coming from the market. Because I know in Kerala, at one of the meetings that I had recently with diets, people had told me that the diet was running a course for students in how to climb coconut trees and how to pluck coconuts, because they found that even this knowledge of students being able to do that is dying, and they don't have, the coconuts dry up and wither and are wasted because there aren't enough people to go and pluck them. And they said that the parents came and said, oh, sorry, this is such a backward course that you're running. Please run only technology-based smart courses. So I think sustainable development and education for sustainable development, which you are underlining, makes us rethink our notions of what is development. Do we only think that having some laptop is more smart than not having a laptop? And like you have shown, there was one panchayat which is developing a very innovative sports council. So that is important. And I think so, but I think that trying to understand, because there was one statement in that film which said that now boring classrooms will be changed to very interesting classrooms because it's a smart classroom. So I think we need to think with our parents also that it's important to have technology, and Kerala is one state which is doing this with open software, not with proprietary technologies, with open software, which teachers are using freely. But a democratic school, in my vision that I share with Kerala, is when the school is run by its students. When it's something like the Nai Talim school, which Gandhi and Dr. Zakir Hussain and Dr. Sayeden, all these people had run, they ran hundreds of such schools in our country, where learning through productive work, where the school used to run a dispensary for the community, the school was running a public distribution ration shop as part of education. And a school was doing agriculture, was doing many other things. So productive work was a medium of education. And I think now for Kerala, I really see that. I mean, if you have to build the school building, if you have to make some furniture, if you have to develop digital resources for the community, for the panchayat, you have to maintain a digital resource bank, whether it's of the soil or of water. The school is actively doing this, and doing that is a process of education for students. Plus, it's a process of responsibility. It's a process of transformative agency, that I'm not just learning for an exam. I'm learning to be able to contribute and do something for my panchayat and work much more than even adults might be doing it. Because students, when they're given responsibility, they take it much more seriously than any one of us. My whole work has been in trying to look at transformative agency. And recently, in fact, my student has done her PhD in a very, very sensitive issue. The whole PhD was on critical sexuality education, because this is something which even state governments are banning, or they're treating adolescents as a problem. Oh, these adolescents don't know right from wrong, so we have to tell them everything. We must tell them what is safe reproduction and things like that. That is not all. I mean, critical sexuality education is about relationships, understanding our own bodies, and going much beyond just this very limited notion of what is sexuality or what is reproduction. But we did it through students. So we did very creative sessions with grade 11 students who would plan it for themselves, how they would run a course, and then they would run it for grade 9. And that way, a whole circle of learning was set up in the school. And we did it even outside school. We did it in shelter homes where homeless children were staying. We did it in a school in Old Delhi, which was a large Muslim population, and where sometimes cultural norms were trying to come in the way of even girls and women talking to themselves about their menstruation. But once we intervened in this way, this became very important, because students were intervening with other students. So I think panchayats could also provide us such a forum. You could try democratic schools in your panchayats where students are running the show. They are running as much as possible of the school, and they take responsibility. They don't wait for some department or some PWD. They first take responsibility, and the other departments only help them and support them. And you will see the way these students change. I mean, it's amazing. Even giving a student a box, like we have tried that in Madhya Pradesh, in a state with very remote, very difficult areas, schools in very poor condition, where village children were just given a box called the pitara, a science box or a box of experiments, and or a box of library books, and they would run a village library, they would run an activity club, and I'm sure Kerala has many such things. But I'm just saying, take it up more in terms of a school responsibility, and also shape the understanding of parents. Like you said in one of the presentations, that we have a session where parents come in the annual day and they present their talent, and talent can be many things other than just dance and song. Their own talent, their work of the hands, the kind of knowledge they have. It's not just skill. And the problem with our new education policy is it is dividing people. It's creating hierarchies. We already have enough hierarchies. It's creating more. So it's having, after class 6, it's going to have vocational courses. It's saying 50% of our children we will push into vocational, and we know today our vocational courses are not exciting. We need to make them exciting, where there is some education also. Today it is only skill, and the industry shapes those courses. So let us change these things, make vocational education really creative and challenging, not someone made to feel that you don't have a head, or you don't have a brain, or you don't have cognitive abilities, that's why you're doing this course. No, there is no course which should be like that. That's why integrated understanding. And please devote time, because you have to monitor schools. Panchayats have to monitor what the schools are doing. So if we monitor what is happening really in those schools, is the assessment being done creatively? Is it really inclusive? No child is made to feel a slow learner. No child is made to feel a bright learner, because even that is damaging. Telling someone you're very intelligent is damaging for a child. That is what our learning theories tell us. We appreciate the quality of their work, but not give them labels. So please do this, because right to education today is under threat. This policy seems to be totally abandoning even a fundamental right. From the policy it is saying, from the recommendations it's making, it's going to have the private sector, low-cost private schools, all kinds of open schooling for children, even at the primary level. So we must resist that. We must make sure that we do not lose a fundamental right, and must, through panchayats, through a lot of debating, and what really is good quality, what is equitable, and even looking at exams. Are they only traditional, or are they actually challenging? Are they asking people's knowledge in terms of their understanding, not just trying to repeat some information? Because repeating information is not learning. And so learning does not happen either through a screen or staring at a textbook. It happens through working together, learning from each other, having our doubts, and then sharing what we can do. Many children working together reach a much higher level of learning, rather than an individual child sitting and staring at something or trying to do an exam. So I request you, please save the right to education. Please save the philosophy behind the equity, the democracy, the secularism that our country stands for. Please save that, and work with the community to have larger discussions on this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, madam. Actually, you had covered a lot of points. Especially, I take 2 or 3 things, like democratization of the school management itself, taking over by the students itself. It could be a very good example of how we can move forward. And also the content, the quality of education, the equity part of it, especially in the present context. And when you mentioned about the resistance, how to actually resist, it's actually what we do in Kerala is actually the panchayats are actually resisting through developing the public education system. That is how we consider it also. So that is how it is. Thank you, madam. And we'll come back to the responses session also. And now I invite Dr. Niranjan Aradhya. He is again one of the champions for universalization of education and actually equitable quality education. Again, he has been working on that, and he's from the National Law University. And I welcome Dr. Niranjan to
Good
comment.
afternoon. Good afternoon to all, and thank you very much for this wonderful opportunity to learn. I think this is really, let me congratulate each one of you for this wonderful initiative and also the kind of understanding of the entire education. Particularly, I'm moved by the understanding, in the inaugural session, Honorable Minister, Mr. Professor Raveendranath, his understanding of the entire, education process, particularly from the sustainable development to kind of distribution, the kind of local self-government. I think that is a wonderful, kind of conceptualization of the, the entire idea of education and why, idea of why education, and also looking education from the larger, kind of socio-political, kind of economic and cultural context. I think that is where exactly something very, kind of very innovative. The very understanding is very innovative. Probably, I just want to congratulate on that. What was really, kind of, I was really thinking and correlating the entire concept with the constitution, particularly the directive principles of the state policy 39 B and C, which talks about, like the entire distribution of wealth for the common good and entire, kind of control of resources in the community. I think probably education always, I believe, any public education is basically to cherish and also to take forward the goals of the constitution. Constitution serves as a kind of a framework for all of us. I always say that public institutions, government schools are the cradle of, kind of developing, and also taking forward the values that what we, embodied in the constitution. I think I'm really moved by that. Particularly in relation to the presentations are excellent because, if you look at the Right to Education Act, the scheme of implementing the Right to Education Act is vested with, in fact, 4 important, institutions. The central government has its own responsibility in terms of providing the resources and also developing a kind of a framework. And state is fully responsible, in terms of both implementing is also, kind of providing guidance and also kind of support for the local government. And of course, the Right to Education clearly says the responsibility of providing education within the panchayat or ward in case of rural and urban area is with the local self-government. Section 9 very clearly says, and also it has listed what all, the local self-government has to do. And a step further, basically, an autonomy to the school is also, kind of in a way conceptualized through a school management committees. When we talk about autonomy to the school, autonomy to the parents and autonomy to children, it is already in a way conceptualized within the school management committee. So how do we really take this entire decentralization process a step further from panchayat to school level is an issue certainly I think the government of Kerala can think about it, because yes, certainly panchayat has a very important role. It's a role of handholding, it's a role of supporting, but actually the entire process of, kind of implementing, constructing the understanding of education, why education, and what is our, kind of, the plan to get that kind of education need to be emerged from the school itself. I strongly believe in that. And also I strongly believe our primary stakeholders, whether it is children, whether it is, parents or, teachers, they have that kind of, both energy as well as creativity. I think we need to, provide that kind of an environment where they can certainly, kind of come up with, that kind of an autonomy to do much more. And see, somewhere, I don't know, like basically what I just want to, kind of bring in any right to education as a normative, framework. When we talk about normative framework, particularly from the international perspective, certainly UNCRC is one of the very important normative framework, which also talks about the child participation as one of the very important element. I think in the entire, kind of this construction of knowledge and, kind of promotion of knowledge and, building, these knowledge institutions, school as a knowledge institutions, where do we really locate children? What is their role? What is their participation? In what way really we are empowering those children in all decision making process, whether it is school development plan, whether it is, deciding about how our school should look like and what all the activities. I think we need to move towards that, kind of nuances of, democracy and democratization in the entire planning as well as execution. I think probably Kerala has all potential to do that. And certainly in all sense, both, socially, politically and culturally, we have that kind of an environment. I think probably moving towards that is really something what I expect as an important, step further in terms of both the decentralization and also to autonomy to the entire school, to design. And of course, see what I have seen some of your graphs and, kind of whatever the achievement in terms of the percentage of results. Yes, I think that is important, but that is not the, kind of objective of education. I think we have to demystify what is education. Education is not just, kind of getting marks. It is not just, kind of information. I think we have to go beyond that. We have to go beyond that, really to make education an important tool for, kind of social transformation, bringing people together, peer learning, and also, to think beyond, to develop a kind of a critical thinking process among, students and, the primary stakeholders, what kind of changes that we need. Because sometimes we fall prey into some of these, kind of vocabularies and organs like, world-class institution, smart class, all these things. Yes, like I'm not really, kind of completely discarding it. But, like that itself is not enough in the education process. In education process, what we need is that every child, every single child has an opportunity to participate in the learning process. How do we create that? How do we create a kind of a classroom certainly where the participation of children is really democratic, and also like every child as a kind of a environment as well as an opportunity to participate equally. Because when I talk about equality, equal opportunity, equitable quality education, that every child should have an opportunity to participate in the process of building knowledge. It is not just providing information. See, the knowledge building process itself is a very constructive process. It's a very constructive process, and every child has a kind of a role, and every child has an entitlement to participate in that process. And that process should lead us, to decide what kind of knowledge that we need and what kind of, the way forward that we need to, move forward is an important issue. I think probably now Kerala has almost reached to address the larger issues of the, education process. Education as an, the whole idea of epistemology, why epistemology, what is the, kind of framework for that, whether it is just confined to, kind of conducting examinations. Are we equating just the entire learning process, as a preparation for the examinations? If you look at the kind of language that is being used in the new education policy, the kind of, learning outcomes, I don't personally believe that the process of education is just learning outcome. It is much beyond that, because the process of education itself is a process of socialization. It's a process of socialization, giving opportunity for all children to participate in a very democratic, in a very equal manner. In fact, that is the reason we call even education as an equalizer. It's an equalizer for all, communities, for all children. I think probably we need to move towards that. What is really, I could, kind of see from the presentations, you are doing excellent work in terms of what is there in Section 9 of the Right to Education Act. I'm sure that all of you are aware that under Section 9 there are about 10 to 13 different responsibilities given to the local self-government, because local self-government is responsible for providing education within its jurisdiction, and also to ensure that all children complete good quality of education. What I could see that I could see when the entire country is struggling to implement the Right to Education Act. In fact, if you look at the latest, statistics, the implementation of right to education, the compliance is only around 12%. 12%, and that entire implementation shows that we have not really given whatever that we are supposed to give for the fundamental right to education. Because whenever we talk about a fundamental right in any context, always fundamental right has three important salient features. Fundamental right, when we talk the language of the fundamental right, it should be universal. It should be available to all children universally, and without any kind of whatever Article 15 of the Constitution, without any discrimination on any grounds. That is one thing. The second important salient feature of the fundamental right is it is the primary obligation of the state. When I say state, not necessarily central, state or local government, certainly it is the primary obligation of the state. Number three, resources are very, very important. See, unless we conceive the fundamental right within these salient features, our implementations will always kind of problematic. That is what we have seen. We are not only little bit hesitant to implement the Right to Education Act, but in the new education policy, the Right to Education Act has been completely diluted. The entire, the new structure that has been proposed, the kind of proposal for the, addressing the issue of out of school children, the whole issue of, equating learning only for, outcomes and not giving any importance for inputs. I think this is all very, very problematic. Whereas Kerala, the model that what I listened through the presentation is something very within the framework of the right to fundamental right to education, respecting it, and also giving all necessary resources to implementation is something very exemplary for all other states. This is what basically an important element that what I could see in all the presentations. But couple of observations, whenever I see, whenever I listen to the stories of implementing the legislations, yes, certainly we need to give more importance for some kind of a visibility in terms of the physical structure, in terms of what is that we have provided in terms of a building or a whatever the kind of facilities and all. That is one part of it, but that is not itself is fundamental right. The other part, particularly the classroom process, what is happening within the classroom, and what really the measures, what really the initiatives, what are the new ways of enhancing the classroom process, and how do we really build that kind of a very conducive and enabling classroom for all children to participate equally. Those elements, I think probably we need to work more on that. I think, of course, providing, building all these computers and all, that is one part of it. But also, what is that we can, really demonstrate, or what we can contribute as one of the, very progressive state in terms of implementing the legislation. What is that we can contribute? What is that we can show in terms of how do we enhance learning process? Basically, learning as a process of not only just information, but also in terms of really building knowledge in a very unique way. So learn to learn is an important concept that we need to understand. So what kind of measures and what kind of innovative projects or things are really taken? Those elements are not really not focused much. Maybe you might have already done a lot of things in that regard, but I'm not sure. If I am ignorant, just excuse me. But those things becomes something very exemplary for all other states. Number two, which I could see the dominant role of the panchayat. Yes, panchayat's role in terms of providing and all these things. But in the presentations, I was not able to understand what exactly the SMCs are doing. I think I'm sure that the parallel or the equivalent to SMC is the parents teachers associations and the parents teachers committees and all. But what exactly their role? What exactly they are their role at the school level, and what is happening to school development plan, particularly under section 22 of the Right to Education Act, and how the school development plan are really formulated at the school level. Is there a mechanism for consolidating those plans at the panchayat level, and how panchayat really consolidate those plans and budget and or allocate resources to execute those plans, is something which is I could not able to see in these presentation. Number three, what is really, because the local authority is also responsible for redressal mechanism under section 31 and 32 for the entire implementation of the Right to Education Act. Panchayat has a role in terms of monitoring, and certainly we have to create a kind of a robust monitoring mechanism. So what's really the monitoring mechanism between the panchayat and the school? Overall, from the schools are attending for that kind of a monitoring process, and how often we review this entire development at the school level, whether it is physical, academic, or all aspects of education. So how do we review that? And what is the kind of accountability both vis-a-vis both panchayat as well as school? I think those elements are very important in terms of strengthening both democracy and also enhancing the democratization process. I think the next stage, how do we really move forward from panchayat level to the school level as a step towards decentralization is really a larger and an important question that Kerala has to address at this point of time, because every school should function as a democratic institution, and every school should have complete democracy in terms of planning, executing, and also monitoring and evaluating their own things in addition to, of course, external a monitoring process. So therefore, I think we have all the opportunities to take this process forward as a kind of a example, as a kind of a success story that all other states can also learn from these lessons and also from these exercises. I once again congratulate right from from the minister level to the last at the school level. I could see that kind of a synergy, that kind of whatever that we talk in terms of our understanding of education, and also translating that understanding into reality and into a kind of a working model is something very encouraging, and something very one can certainly take that as a kind of that process as a kind of a learning. So I take this opportunity doing wonderful work. Once again, congratulations, and I really thank each one of you for this wonderful work, and let us work together to make equitable quality education a reality for all children in the country. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Aradhya. In fact, you have also given us some suggestions and guidelines on how to move forward, rather than keeping on what we are doing, how to move forward. That has been, and also linking it with the right to education, the future of right to education also. Thank you. And now we move to Mr. Jeevan Babu IAS, who is the CEO of Education Rejuvenation Mission. In fact, Education Rejuvenation Mission is one of the key players in this whole rejuvenation of the public education system in Kerala, along with all actors. And he has been the champion, one of the champions behind that. So over to Mr. Jeevan Babu.
It's wonderful to be part of this seminar. Hope I am audible.
Perfect. Yeah, perfect.
Okay. On Teachers' Day, I thank Kila and other people for conducting such a wonderful seminar, and it's the 8th in the series. So, and we have an eminent set of panelists who had been kind enough to throw larger lights on the various issues faced by the education system in Kerala. First, as the CEO of Kerala Public Education Rejuvenation Mission, for the information of all, I will slightly give a small introduction about what is a mission. So in 2016, the government of Kerala came up with 4 ambitious missions. Out of that, one was in the educational sector, and we call it Podu Vidyabhyasa Samrakshanajnam, or in English, it is called as Public Education Rejuvenation Mission. So usually whenever we speak about education, there's a lot of beliefs about education. For example, many people may consider that the education standards in government schools will be less, or the infrastructure facility in government schools will be very minimal, something like that. So the government has made a clear policy about the public education in Kerala. When public education is considered in Kerala, there are 2 aspects. One is the government schools, which are entirely run by the government, and we also have the aided schools, which runs on the aid of the government. So both these schools combined together, we call it public education. So when the mission was launched in 2016, it has basically 4 broad achievements, or 4 broad visions, or 4 broad main points for the mission. One is that the infrastructure quality in the public schools has to be increased. You know, we obviously know that apart from the earlier age, after the coming of the Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan and the RMSA, the infrastructure facilities, the building, the other activities in the schools has increased to a large extent. But the government has decided that to improve the quality of the school infrastructure, to make them places of excellence, of educational excellence, to make our institutions as the institutions of excellence, we have identified this as one of the main criteria for our mission, to improve the infrastructure quality of the education. Second aspect was to make the mission more democratic. For example, our schools, the schools are running in different parts of the state. So we decided that we will be making our schools more democratized, to increase the participation of the locality, to increase the participation of the local public, to increase the participation of the society in the working of the schools. As you have said, many people have said in between also, to improve the participation of the public will be the one of the part of the social audit process also, that will be improving to, that will help the improve the quality of our schools. So third one was to increase or improve the academic content of our schools, or improve the academic quality of our education. Most of the times when we think about development and other things, we usually will be thinking of buildings. But the quality of education, as we already said, how the knowledge is being shared, how the knowledge is being developed, how students are being brought into the process of education, how will we inculcate the spirit of learning, how will we inculcate the sense of knowledge among students. So improving the academic aspects also was the third important aspect of the mission. The fourth one was to make use of more technological advancements. We call it in different names. Somebody says smart classrooms or high tech or some other ways. But our main aim was to, since we wanted to improve the academic quality of our schools, or improve the academic level, how we can make use of technology along with the traditional methods. So many of the teachers may be convenient with the old classroom and the board method, the board and the chalk method. Some of the teachers will be much more conversant with the latest technological methods. Some of the students will be very happy to be adapted with the latest technological method. So making use of technology to improve the learning experience was the fourth method. So first one was improving the infrastructure. Second was to democratize our schools, or make the society more participative in the school activities. Third one was making our schools more technological friendly. And fourth one was improving the academic quality of the schools. So considering all these aspects, in the last 4 years, a large number of activities are happening all over Kerala. Many of our local self-governments in Kerala, as you know, after the 93rd and the 94th amendment, and after the public planning process has happened, a large number of activities is being taken by the local self-governments, especially our Grama Panchayats and the district panchayat for improving the quality of education in our schools. I think schools are the most preferred places where all the panchayats prefer to have all the activities. I don't see anywhere in Kerala the panchayats are not happy taking initiatives in school. Irrespective of political affiliations, irrespective of local issues, irrespective of all the activities, everywhere we can see that schools are the main center of activity, which the panchayat will be happy enough. All public representatives, all political parties, all local people, everyone will be happy to be associated with the schools and work in n number of different ways. So these 4 missions taking into forward, we are developing a large number of activities with the help of our Samagra Shiksha Kerala, the State Council of Education, Research and Training. We have an agency called as KITE, which was initially the IT at school, which takes care of the IT and the other IT-enabled services in school. With the help of all these agencies, and as Madam has already said, our diets are there, our teachers training institutes are there. With the help of all these institutions, we are trying to improve the quality of education level by level all over Kerala. So after the 93 and the 94th amendment, our local self-governments are playing a very important role in that. So in their planned fund, whatever is possible, they are trying to provide for the schools and improve the quality of school education. Most of the panchayats have taken as such a pride that we have the best schools in our place. We want to improve the quality of education. We want to provide a better generation. For that, we have to invest in the present generation or in the present school so that we'll be having a better generation. So after seeing all the 5 presentations, we can clearly see that the presentations are in different spheres or in various distinct factors are there in the presentations. If you look at the presentation, there are presentations on improvement of academic quality are there. For example, even though there's a difference in opinion about how assessment has to be done, our panelists also were very vocal on that. There's a lot of conflict on that. Some people will say that exams will be one of the method. Some others will say that the continuous evaluation should be there. Some others, as we said, that Kerala should be a pioneer in finding out an alternative also should be there. But the academic improvement has to be made. So a lot of activities are happening in the local village level, local Grama Panchayat level or the district Panchayat level to improve the quality of education, to improve the academic quality. For example, the Malappuram district Panchayat has found out the Vijay Pheri. Vijay Pheri means sound of success. So sound of success for improving the success rate in the district. The same thing we can see that many of the Grama Panchayats has also adopted. But they are not constrained to that particular aspect. We are so happy to see what our Iraviperu Grama Panchayat has said and has done in the field. They have come up with the first Panchayat level sports council. And it has to be implemented all over Kerala because as you all know, many of the places in Kerala, the rural folk are highly into sports and various activities, and we have produced a large number of Olympians and other people. And these people are so passionate about many of the activities. For example, in mid Kerala or somewhere, if you go, volleyball is one of the most favored activity. If you go slightly towards the north, we can see that football is a craze for that entire districts. Many of the districts, it's a craze. So when the local people comes together and they try to promote sports because it's there in their veins or it's within them. So when they try to improve the local resources, we can see wonderful effects also. So it's happening all over Kerala. So a large number of institutions has come up with wonderful ideas in improving the sports standard. And one important aspect I have seen in many of the places is that it's gender neutral. Many places we are having a large number of girl children or women also coming into the sports arena. And we are having a large number of teams also which can compete in the state level or the national level. So along with our academic activities, we have sports. And during one of the presentations, I was happy to see a photo where the first batch of the students who got dance training, that was also shown in one of the presentations. And in other presentations, it was more about the nutritious food to be given to children, where dining halls were constructed, the kitchen was renewed by the institutions. So various levels of or various diverse topics were selected by the local self-governments, and they are doing a large number of wonderful work on the field. So with the help of many of these activities, but many of the places, what happens is that the replication or the model which is being conceived at one part of Kerala, the level of replication is very much less. Many times what happens is that most people try to create their own innovative method. That's well and fine. But to a large extent, finding out the wheel by each one or discovery of wheel by each one will be a tedious task. Rather than that, if you find to replicate some of the best methods all over Kerala, that would be much better. And even the cycle sheds were being created, organic waste system. So a lot of innovative activities, which are the basic roles of the local panchayats, are being taken all over Kerala. And I want to add some more ideas, like many of the local panchayats are taken up along with the midday meal, because the state and the central government is providing midday meal to all the children from 1 to 8 classes. But many local panchayats had been slightly more resourceful or more proactive. Many of the places, they found out that students are not coming to school. There are a lot of issues associated with that. One of the issues they have found out is that many of the places, especially in the tribal and the coastal belt, or in the scheduled caste or the minority belt, students find it very difficult to come to school because they don't have enough food at home. So many panchayats has come up with this innovative idea to provide breakfast at schools. So that changed the number of dropouts in many of the schools, especially in Wayanad and other places. And the dropout ratio has come down considerably in Kerala. And one more important aspect which I have seen through all the presentations and which is happening in Kerala is that most of the policies, when a state government or other people or the central government designs, it will be a uniform policy at the state level or the central level. The most important aspect of decentralization is the local flavor. So the local flavor means that the local public or the local public representatives will be much able to understand the problems of the local area. For example, in a tribal area like Velliyamattam, the Pumala Government Tribal High School, we'll be seeing wonderful activities being conducted. Even in a tribal area like that, a large number of activities, including English club, parents meeting where the parents will be coming and performing various activities, students doing the local, health camp and other activities. A large number of activities is being conducted. So the local public representatives will be having a better idea of the real constraints in the field, why our school is not properly working. A director of general education or the CEO of the mission may not be able to have the same vision of all the 12,000 or 14,000 schools happening all over Kerala. But the local panchayat president and the panchayat member, and along with the public representatives in the local area, will be having a much better idea. They will having a much better idea about the solutions for the problem, the resources that will be locally available, and with the development of the resources, the resource pool all over Kerala will be increased. So with the help of all these activities which is happening at the local level, a large number of projects are being implemented all over Kerala, with which we are trying to improve the level of education, the level of the atmosphere being provided in the schools all over Kerala. As our honorable panelists are clearly mentioned, along with all these activities, we are trying to improve the social fabric of schools. As we all know, especially in government schools, the government schools are always preferred as the real, windows or doors to the social or the public life. So a large number of activities will be happening all over the school. Nowadays, during the digital or the corona, digital classroom age or the corona age, our students are really finding it difficult to stay at home. They really want to come back to our schools, because schools are the real place of that social mobilization, that social joining between the different sections of society, irrespective of caste, creed, color, religion, and everything. School is the joining factor for each one of them. So that level of sense of harmony, that secularistic sense, everything is being provided all over the schools in Kerala. So we are trying to enhance it by various programs. Last year we had one wonderful program where we tried to inculcate the sense of the ideals of the basic idioms of our constitution to all our children through a big program conducted by SCRT. So we are trying to inculcate that sense of socialism among our students also. with the help of the local Grama Panchayats and with the help of the district Panchayat also, we are trying to inculcate more sense of the society among our students. And we hope that with the help of all stakeholders, as you clearly mentioned, last few years we are trying to include students in our planning process also, because we plan everything for the students. But what we usually see is that at no point of time we take a consultation with them. So what now we are trying to do is that for each and every activity, we take a consultation with the students also, whether this project is useful for them, whether it will be helpful for them, how should we go about with this project. So that consultative process we are trying to increase. And as you said, Kerala would like to be one of the states which redefines the education. So today the panelists were kind enough to throw huge information on that aspects, along with the importance of right to education and its implementation aspect. I think with the help of the local self-governments and with the active participation, all the people's representative and the education department, I think we will be able to implement what are being mentioned, the great ideas being mentioned in the webinar. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Sri Jeevan Babu. I mean, you have actually completed the circle. I mean, you have actually talked about the mission activities and how it is the 4 components of the mission or the objectives of the mission, as well as how it is linked to the panchayats, and finally appreciating the panchayats and what they have been doing with regard to education sector. Thank you once again. Now I hand over this session to Dr. Joseph, the director of Gulati Institute, to moderate the question and answer session. Over to Dr. Joseph.
Again, good evening once again. നമ്മുടെ ബഹുമാനപ്പെട്ട ധനമന്ത്രി എത്തിയിട്ടുണ്ട്. ഒത്തിരി വിശദമായിട്ട് വലിയ ചർച്ചയ്ക്ക് സമയമില്ല, കാരണം മിനിസ്റ്റർക്ക് അടുത്ത ഒരു മീറ്റിംഗ് വേറെ മീറ്റിംഗ് ഇപ്പോൾ എത്തിയത്. ഇനി 4:40 മിനിസ്റ്റർക്ക് വേറൊരു മീറ്റിംഗ് ഉണ്ട്. അതുകൊണ്ട് വളരെ ബ്രീഫായിട്ട് ആദ്യമായിട്ട് എല്ലാവരോടും പറയാനുള്ളത്, വളരെ നല്ല പ്രസന്റേഷൻസ്, അതിനെപ്പറ്റി വളരെ അപ്രീഷിയേറ്റ് ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ട് പാനലിസ്റ്റുകൾ സംസാരിച്ചു. നിങ്ങൾക്ക് എല്ലാവർക്കും ഞങ്ങളുടെ അഭിനന്ദനങ്ങൾ. 1-2 ചോദ്യങ്ങൾ വന്നിട്ടുണ്ട്. അത് ചോദിച്ചിരിക്കുന്ന മിക്കവാറും ഡോക്ടർ ജോസ് ചാത്തുക്കുളമാണ്. ജോസ് ചാത്തുക്കുളത്തിന്റെ ആദ്യത്തെ ചോദ്യം വാടാനപ്പള്ളി ഗ്രാമപഞ്ചായത്തിനോടാണ്. നിങ്ങൾ ഒരു എഡ്യൂക്കേഷൻ കമ്മിറ്റിയെ പറ്റി സംസാരിച്ചു. ആ കമ്മിറ്റിയുടെ അതിന്റെ ധർമ്മങ്ങൾ എന്തൊക്കെയാണ്, അതിന്റെ പ്രവർത്തനം എന്താണെന്ന് വളരെ ബ്രീഫായിട്ടൊന്ന് പറയാമോ? കാരണം ചോദ്യങ്ങൾ വളരെ വിശാലമായ ചോദ്യങ്ങളാണ്, ഇക്കരം നിങ്ങൾക്ക് ബുദ്ധിമുട്ടുണ്ടാവുന്ന വളരെ ബ്രീഫായിട്ട് പറഞ്ഞാൽ മതി. രണ്ടാമത്തത്, ഈ കമ്മിറ്റിയും ഗ്രാമപഞ്ചായത്തുമായിട്ടുള്ള കണക്ഷൻ എന്ത്? മൂന്നാമത്തെ, സാമൂഹികമായിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു മോണിറ്ററിംഗ് ഉണ്ടോ നമ്മുടെ ഈ നിങ്ങളുടെ പ്രവർത്തനങ്ങൾക്ക് എന്ന് മൂന്നാമത്തെ ചോദ്യം ചോദിക്കുന്നത്. അവസാനമായിട്ട് ചോദിക്കുന്നത്, ഈ PTA ആയിട്ടും സ്റ്റുഡൻസുമായിട്ടും ടീച്ചേഴ്സുമായിട്ടും ഒക്കെ ഇന്ററാക്ട് ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് ഉണ്ടായ പ്രതിസന്ധികൾ, ബുദ്ധിമുട്ടുകൾ എന്തൊക്കെയാണ്? രണ്ടാമത്തെ സെറ്റ് ഓഫ് ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസ് വൈഡർ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസ് ആണ്, അത് എല്ലാവർക്കും കൂടി ഉള്ളതാണ്. വാടാനപ്പള്ളി ഇതൊന്ന് ആൻസർ ചെയ്യാമോ? വാടാനപ്പള്ളിക്ക് വളരെ ബ്രീഫായിട്ടൊന്ന് പറയാമെന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ നന്നായിരിക്കും. വാടാനപ്പള്ളി ഗ്രാമപഞ്ചായത്ത്
പറയാം.
താങ്ക് യു.
ഹലോ, കേൾക്കുന്നുണ്ടല്ലോ?
കേൾക്കാൻ സാധിക്കുന്നുണ്ട്.
വാടാനപ്പള്ളി ഗ്രാമപഞ്ചായത്തില് 11 സ്കൂളുകളാണ് ഉള്ളത്. അതിൽ 2 ഗവൺമെന്റ് സ്കൂളുകളും ബാക്കി 9 എയ്ഡഡ് സ്കൂളുകളുമാണ്. ഈ സ്കൂളുകളിലെ പ്രധാന അധ്യാപകര് ആണ് ഈ PEC പങ്കെടുക്കാറ്. ഞങ്ങള് പഞ്ചായത്ത് മെമ്പർമാരെല്ലാവരും ഒപ്പം പങ്കെടുക്കാറുണ്ട്. സ്കൂളുകളിൽ അതാത് മാസത്തില് ഏതൊക്കെ രീതിയിലാണ് അവിടുത്തെ അക്കാദമികമായിട്ടുള്ള കാര്യങ്ങളാണെങ്കിലും അവിടുത്തെ ഭൗതികമായിട്ടുള്ള പ്രശ്നങ്ങളാണെങ്കിലും അത് ഞങ്ങൾ എല്ലാവരും കൂടി ഇരുന്ന് ചർച്ച ചെയ്ത് കൃത്യമായി എന്തൊക്കെയാണ് ആ സ്കൂളിന് ഇനി ബാക്കി ചെയ്ത് തീർക്കേണ്ടതായിട്ടുള്ള കാര്യങ്ങൾ അതിൽ കൃത്യമായി ഇടപെടുകയും നമ്മൾ ആ പ്ലാൻ വരുന്ന സമയത്ത് ആ പ്ലാനിൽ കൊണ്ടുവരേണ്ടതാണെങ്കിൽ ആ തരത്തിൽ കൊണ്ടുവരും. അല്ലെങ്കിൽ അപ്പൊ തന്നെ പരിഹരിക്കേണ്ടതായിട്ടുള്ള വല്ല പ്രശ്നങ്ങൾ ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ അത് അപ്പൊ പരിഹരിക്കാൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു ഇടപെടൽ നടത്തും. ഇത്തരത്തിൽ ആണ് കാര്യങ്ങൾ ചെയ്യാറ്. ഇതില് ചില സന്ദർഭങ്ങളിൽ PTA കമ്മിറ്റി അംഗങ്ങളെ, PTA പ്രസിഡന്റ് അടക്കമുള്ള PTA കമ്മിറ്റി അംഗങ്ങളെ കൂടി ഉൾപ്പെടുത്തി ചെയ്യാറുണ്ട്. അപ്പോഴാണ് PTA-യുടെ ഭാഗത്തു നിന്നുള്ള നിർദ്ദേശങ്ങൾ വരാറ്. PTA അതിൻ്റെതായിട്ടുള്ള കുറെ കാര്യങ്ങൾ നമ്മുടെ പഞ്ചായത്തുമായിട്ട് പങ്കുവയ്ക്കും. അപ്പൊ അതിന്റെ ഭാഗമായിട്ടുള്ള പരിഹരിക്കേണ്ടതായിട്ടുള്ള കാര്യങ്ങൾ ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ അതും പരിഹരിക്കാൻ ഇതുവഴി സാധിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ട്. തീർച്ചയായിട്ടും അത്തരത്തിൽ ഇടപെട്ടതിന്റെ ഭാഗമായിട്ട് ഗവൺമെന്റ് LP സ്കൂളാണ് നമ്മുടെ ഇവിടെ നേരത്തെ കാണിച്ചത്. ഗവൺമെന്റ് LP സ്കൂളാണ്, നമ്മുടെ ഫിഷറി സ്കൂളാണ്. വളരെ പിന്നോക്കം നിൽക്കുന്ന ഒരു പ്രദേശത്ത് ആണ്. അവിടുത്തെ കുട്ടികൾ വന്നിരുന്നത് വളരെ കുറവായിരുന്നു. അതുപോലെ തന്നെ അവിടുത്തെ കുട്ടികൾക്ക് നല്ല വിദ്യാഭ്യാസം കിട്ടാത്തൊരു സാഹചര്യം നിലനിന്നിരുന്നു. ഇപ്പൊ അതിന്റെ ഭൗതിക സാഹചര്യങ്ങൾ മുഴുവൻ മെച്ചപ്പെടുത്താൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ടുള്ള പ്രവർത്തനങ്ങൾ ചെയ്യാൻ സാധിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ട്. എല്ലാ മേഖലയിലുള്ള ഇടപെടലും പഞ്ചായത്ത് അതിനു വേണ്ടി ചെയ്തു കൊടുത്തിട്ടുണ്ട്. അവിടെ ഏറ്റവും പ്രധാനമായിട്ട് അവിടുത്തെ കുട്ടികൾ ഭക്ഷണം കഴിക്കാതെ വരുന്നു എന്നുള്ളതായിരുന്നു വലിയ പ്രശ്നമായിട്ട് പറഞ്ഞിരുന്നത്. അത് രാവിലെ ചില കുട്ടികളൊക്കെ ഭക്ഷണം കഴിക്കാതെ വരുന്നു. അവരുടെ കണ്ണിലൊക്കെ ഒരു തിളക്കമില്ല എന്നൊക്കെ പറഞ്ഞിരുന്നതിന്റെ ഭാഗമായിട്ട് നമ്മൾ പ്രഭാത ഭക്ഷണം കഴിഞ്ഞ കുറെ കാലങ്ങളായിട്ട് അവർക്ക് നൽകിക്കൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. അതിന്റെ ഭാഗമായിട്ടുള്ള വലിയ നല്ല രീതിയിലുള്ള പ്രവർത്തനങ്ങൾ കാഴ്ചവെക്കാൻ സാധിക്കും. ഇതാണ് ചുരുക്കി ഇതുമായി ബന്ധപ്പെട്ടുള്ള കാര്യങ്ങൾ പറയാം.
ജോസഫ് സാർ,
അധികാര വികേന്ദ്രീകരണം തുടങ്ങിയതിന് ശേഷം നടപ്പാക്കിയ പല പല പദ്ധതികളുണ്ട്. അത് ചിലതൊക്കെ വന്നു പോയി. ആ പദ്ധതികളുമായിട്ട് ഉള്ള ബന്ധം എന്താണ്, അതിൻ്റെ ഒരു കണ്ടിന്യൂവേഷൻ ആണോ ഇപ്പൊ നടക്കുന്നത്, ഇങ്ങനെയുള്ള ചോദ്യമുണ്ട്. പിന്നെ അംഗനവാടി പ്രോജക്റ്റില് നമ്മുടെ ഈ പഞ്ചായത്തുകൾക്കുള്ള ബന്ധം എന്ത്? അപ്പം ദീസ് ആർ ബ്രോഡർ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസ്. ഐ തിങ്ക് ബഹുമാനപ്പെട്ട ധനമന്ത്രിയിലേക്ക് അദ്ദേഹത്തെ ക്ഷണിക്കുകയാണ്.
വെള്ളിയാമറ്റം ഗ്രാമപഞ്ചായത്ത്, നിങ്ങളുടെ പരിപാടിയുടെ സവിശേഷത അത് പൂർണ്ണമായിട്ടും നിങ്ങളുടെ പ്രാദേശിക സാഹചര്യത്തോട് പ്രതികരിക്കുന്നതാണ്. ട്രൈബൽ ഏരിയയാണ്, ട്രൈബൽ സ്കൂളാണ്. അതിൽ എല്ലാം ഇനങ്ങളും പരിശോധിക്കുമ്പോൾ ടെക്സ്റ്റ് ബുക്ക് ബാങ്ക്, നൈറ്റ് സ്കൂള്, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ സെക്യൂരിറ്റി മാപ്പിംഗ്, ഇതൊക്കെ നമ്മുടെ സാധാരണഗതിയിൽ ഒരു സ്കൂളിൽ പ്രസക്തമായിട്ടുള്ള കാര്യങ്ങളല്ല. ലോക്കൽ സ്റ്റഡി സെന്റേഴ്സ് ഒക്കെ. അപ്പൊ എൻ്റെ ഒരു അറിയാനുള്ളൊരു താല്പര്യം, ആരാണ് നിന്റെ കീ റിസോഴ്സ് പേഴ്സൺ? അങ്ങനെ ഒരാളുണ്ടോ? അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഒരു കൂട്ടമാണോ ആൾക്കാർ ഇത്തരത്തിൽ ഒരു നൂതനമായ രീതിയിൽ ട്രൈബൽ സാഹചര്യത്തിൽ ഇതെല്ലാം തയ്യാറാക്കുന്നതിന് മുൻകൈ എടുത്ത ആളുകളുടെ പേരുകൾ എനിക്കൊന്ന് അറിയണം, കൊള്ളാം. So I was asking them, Velliyamattam School, who helped them to draw up such a program responding to the concrete tribal situation there, which is very rare in Kerala. Okay, tribals are a very small minority, 1% of the population, but they didn't go for a stereotype program, but a program which specifically responds to the conditions in the tribal area. So I want to know how this program evolved. Velliyamattam Panchayathu. വെള്ളിയാമറ്റം പഞ്ചായത്ത്, വെള്ളിയാമറ്റം പഞ്ചായത്ത് പോയാ?
സാർ, അവിടെ നെറ്റിന്റെ ഇഷ്യൂസ് ഉണ്ടെന്നാണ് പറയണത്. ഞങ്ങൾ അവരെ കോണ്ടാക്ട് ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്നുണ്ട്.
വെള്ളിയാമറ്റം പഞ്ചായത്ത് തയ്യാറായി വന്നാൽ അപ്പം നിങ്ങൾക്ക് സംസാരിക്കാം. ഐ വിൽ മൂവ് ടു മലപ്പുറം ഡിസ്ട്രിക്ട് പഞ്ചായത്ത്. അപ്പൊ നേരത്തെ ചോദിച്ച ചോദ്യത്തിന് ഉത്തരം നിങ്ങളുടെ അനുഭവത്തിലുണ്ട്. The question that was raised earlier was by Chatukulam. How do you sustain this program? How do you ensure that it continues? Well, here is a program we started in 2000, turn of the century, and has been continued for the last 2 decades very consistently.
Yes, sir.
And that is a very creditable achievement.
Okay.
And you claim that, and not only just claim, I know there's a tremendous improvement in the educational standard in Malappuram, and this program also might have contributed to it. My question are two. I think you said you started with the primary school. So were you progressively going up the higher school classes as the cohorts of students moved up? നിങ്ങൾ തുടങ്ങിയത് പ്രൈമറി സ്കൂളിൽ നിന്നാണ്, പക്ഷെ പിന്നീട് ഓരോ വർഷം കഴിയുന്തോറും 1ാം ക്ലാസ് 2ലെത്തുമ്പോൾ 2ലും കൂടി വരുന്നു, 3 കൂടി വരുന്നു, 4 കൂടി വരുന്നു. അങ്ങനെ ഈ കൊച്ചുകളോടൊപ്പം നിങ്ങളും നിങ്ങളുടെ പദ്ധതി മുന്നോട്ട് പോവുകയാണ് ചെയ്തത്. അതല്ല, തുടങ്ങി പ്രൈമറിന്ന് പിന്നെ എല്ലായിടത്തും ഒരുപോലെ റോൾ ഔട്ട് ചെയ്തു, എന്താ ഉള്ളത്? ആണ് ഒരു ചോദ്യം ഒന്ന്. ചിന്തിച്ചോളൂ. രണ്ടാമത്തെ ചോദ്യം, ഈ SLC വിജയശതമാനത്തിന്റെ ഗ്രാഫ് പറയുന്നതിൽ എനിക്ക് വലിയ ഇംപ്രസ്ഡ് ആവില്ല കേട്ടോ. കാരണം വെച്ച് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ദാറ്റ് ഇസ് നോട്ട്, പക്ഷെ വേറെ ഔട്ട്കംസ് ഇല്ലേ? ഉദാഹരണത്തിന് ലിറ്റിൽ മോർ കാര്യം ഉണ്ടാവാം, ലൈക്ക് ഗ്രേഡ് പെർസെൻറ്റേജ്, അതല്ലെങ്കിൽ ടാലന്റ് ടെസ്റ്റുകളിലും മറ്റും ഉണ്ടാവുന്ന വിജയങ്ങൾ. ഇതൊക്കെ പലതും മലപ്പുറത്തെ കുറിച്ച് പറയുന്നുണ്ട്. ഞാൻ നിങ്ങളെക്കുറിച്ച് വായിച്ചിട്ടുള്ള എല്ലാ റൈറ്റപ്പുകളിലും വിജയപേരിയെ കുറിച്ച് വായിച്ചിട്ടുള്ളതിൽ ഈ SLC വിജയത്തിന്റെ ശതമാനത്തിന്മേൽ കടന്നു പിടിക്കുകയാണ്. ഒരു കാര്യം വളരെ ശരിയാണ്, നിങ്ങൾ തുടങ്ങുമ്പോൾ കേരളത്തിലെ വിജയ ശതമാനത്തിന്റെ പകുതിയേ ഉള്ളൂ, ഇന്നിപ്പോ ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് ഇൻകോൺട്രവെർട്ടിബിൾ തിങ്. ബട്ട് വേറെ ഔട്ട്കംസ്, ക്വാളിറ്റി ഓഫ് എഡ്യൂക്കേഷൻ ഇംപ്രൂവ്മെന്റിനെ കുറിച്ച് വല്ല അന്വേഷണം നടത്തിയിട്ടുണ്ടോ? മലപ്പുറം പ്രോഗ്രാം has been going for 20 years, and the outcome only one index they've taken, the percentage of pass in the SLC, which all over has gone up for. I want to know if they have any other measure to measure the quality of education in Malappuram. Since it's a big program, I was thinking you must have some further information. I was going to write about you. That's why I'm asking.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Kalkamo.
Yeah. Kekam.
Okay, sir. 2001-2002 academic year lana.
Salim ആരാണ്?
ഞാൻ വിജയപേരി പ്രൊജക്ട് കോർഡിനേറ്റർ ആണ്. വർക്കർ ടീച്ചറാണ്. ബേസിക്കലി വർക്ക് അറേഞ്ച്മെന്റിൽ ജില്ലാ പഞ്ചായത്തിൽ കോർഡിനേറ്റർ ആയിട്ട് വർക്ക് ചെയ്യുന്നു. സർ 2001-2002 വർഷത്തിലാണ് വിജയപേരി പദ്ധതി തുടങ്ങുന്നത്. ആദ്യകാലത്ത് ഹൈസ്കൂളുകളിൽ SLC റിസൾട്ട് മെച്ചപ്പെടുത്തുക എന്നുള്ളത് തന്നെയായിരുന്നു ലക്ഷ്യം. അന്ന് നേരത്തെ ഇവിടെ പറഞ്ഞതുപോലെ സംസ്ഥാനത്തെ ഏറ്റവും പുറകിൽ നിന്ന ജില്ലയായിരുന്നു. അവിടെ മാത്രമല്ല ഡ്രോപ്പ് ഔട്ട്സ് കൂടുതലായിരുന്നു. 8ലും 9ലും പഠിക്കുന്ന കുട്ടികൾ വരെ ഈവൻ മാരേജിലേക്ക് പോകുന്നത്, ശൈശവവിവാഹത്തിന്റെ ഒക്കെ ഒരു സമയം അത് ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു. ഈവൻ പല സ്കൂളുകളിലും ആ സമയത്ത് കല്യാണം കഴിഞ്ഞ കുട്ടികൾ നിയമപരമായിട്ട് പറയാൻ പാടില്ലെങ്കിൽ പോലും അവിടെ 8ലും 9ലും 10ലും ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു. പല പാരന്റ്സ് മീറ്റിംഗിൽ ഞങ്ങൾ പങ്കെടുക്കുമ്പോൾ അവിടുത്തെ HMs പറയാറ്, എന്താണ് പറയേണ്ടത് ചോദിക്കുമ്പോൾ, നിങ്ങൾ ഈ കുട്ടികളോട് 10th വരെ കല്യാണത്തെക്കുറിച്ച് സംസാരിക്കരുത് എന്ന് പറയുന്ന രീതിയിലായിരുന്നു പാരന്റ്സ് മീറ്റിംഗിൽ പറഞ്ഞത്. ആ ഒരവസ്ഥയിൽ നിന്നാണ് ഇന്ന് ഈ ഒരു അവസ്ഥയിലേക്ക് എത്തിയത്. അതാണ് ഏറ്റവും വലിയ ചേഞ്ച്. മൊത്തത്തിൽ ഈ കഴിഞ്ഞൊരു 2 പതിറ്റാണ്ട് കൊണ്ട്, 2001 ഒരു 18 വർഷം കൊണ്ട് എഡ്യൂക്കേഷനോടുള്ള മലപ്പുറത്തെ ജനങ്ങളുടെ ആറ്റിറ്റ്യൂഡ് മാറി. ഹയർ എഡ്യൂക്കേഷൻ മേഖലയിലേക്ക് പോകണം എന്നുള്ള താല്പര്യം ഉണ്ടായി. പാരന്റ്സിന് വേണ്ടി അവയർനെസ് പ്രോഗ്രാം നടത്തി. ഇപ്പം +2 കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് ഹയർ സ്റ്റഡീസിന്റെ മേഖലയിലേക്ക് നന്നായിട്ട് പോകുന്നുണ്ടെന്ന് മാത്രമല്ല, പെൺകുട്ടികൾ, നേരത്തെ വിദ്യാഭ്യാസത്തോട് പുറംതിരിഞ്ഞിരുന്ന പെൺകുട്ടികൾ നന്നായിട്ട് മുമ്പോട്ട് പോകുന്നു മാത്രമല്ല, സെൻട്രൽ യൂണിവേഴ്സിറ്റിയിൽ വരെ അവരുടെ പ്രാതിനിധ്യം കാണാൻ മലപ്പുറത്തുനിന്ന്, കൊണ്ടോട്ടിയിൽ നിന്നും കോട്ടക്കൽ നിന്നും മലപ്പുറത്തു നിന്നും ഒക്കെ. മാത്രമല്ല PhD ഹോൾഡേഴ്സ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള ഒരുപാട് പെൺകുട്ടികളുണ്ട്. എല്ലാ മത്സര പരീക്ഷകളിലും അവർ ആ രീതിയിൽ മുന്നേറാനും തുടങ്ങിയിട്ടുണ്ട്. കേവലം SLC റിസൾട്ട് മാത്രമല്ല. ജില്ലാ പഞ്ചായത്ത് മുൻകൈ എടുത്തിട്ട് മലപ്പുറത്ത് 100ഓളം പഞ്ചായത്തുകൾ, മുനിസിപ്പാലിറ്റികളിൽ എല്ലാ സ്ഥലത്തും വിജയപേരി, പല പേരുകളിലാണ് ഗ്രാമപഞ്ചായത്തുകൾ ഏറ്റെടുത്തിട്ടുള്ളത്. ചില പഞ്ചായത്തുകൾ വിജയപേരി എന്ന് ഏറ്റെടുത്തു, മറ്റു ചില പഞ്ചായത്തുകൾ മറ്റു ചില പേരുകൾ ഏറ്റെടുത്തു. എല്ലാ പഞ്ചായത്തുകളും ഇത്തരത്തിലുള്ള വിദ്യാഭ്യാസ കാര്യത്തിൽ ഏറ്റെടുക്കുകയും പ്രൈമറി തലത്തിൽ മുതൽ എല്ലാ കുട്ടികളും 10th വരെ എത്തുന്നുണ്ടെന്നും 10th പഠിക്കുന്നുണ്ടെന്നും ഉറപ്പുവരുത്തി പാരന്റ്സ് അവയർനെസ് കൊടുത്തു. ഈ രീതിയിൽ നമുക്ക് മുന്നേറാൻ കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ടുണ്ട്. ഇത് കണ്ടിന്യൂസ് ആയിട്ട് കൊണ്ടുപോകാൻ പറ്റിയത് കൊണ്ട് തന്നെയാണ് ഇതിന്റെ റിസൾട്ട് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. നേരത്തെ ഇവിടെ പറഞ്ഞതുപോലെ മറ്റു ചില പഞ്ചായത്തുകളും ഭരണം മാറുമ്പോഴോ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ 5 വർഷം കഴിയുമ്പോഴോ ഒരു പ്രൊജക്ട് ഇടുകയും വേറെ പ്രൊജക്റ്റ് വരികയും ചെയ്യുന്നുള്ളതാണ് പ്രശ്നങ്ങൾ. അതിനൊരു കണ്ടിന്യൂറ്റി ഇല്ലാതെ പോയത്. പക്ഷെ മലപ്പുറം പഞ്ചായത്ത് എല്ലാവരും, അതിന് പ്രതിപക്ഷമൊന്നോ ഭരണപക്ഷമൊന്നും ഇല്ലാതെ എല്ലാവരും കൂടെ നിന്നു എന്നുള്ളതും കൂടെ ഇതിന്റെ ഒരു വിജയത്തിന്റെ ഒരു പ്രത്യേകതയാണ്. എല്ലാ അധ്യാപക സംഘടനകളും കൂടെ നിന്നു, എല്ലാ രാഷ്ട്രീയ പാർട്ടികളും കൂടെ നിന്നു. വിജയ പദ്ധതിക്ക് ഒരു കാരണവശാലും ആരും എതിർത്തിട്ടില്ല, എല്ലാവരും സപ്പോർട്ട് നൽകി എന്നുള്ളതാണ് വിജയത്തിന്റെ മറ്റൊരു കാര്യം. പിന്നെ കരിയർ ഗൈഡൻസ് ക്ലാസ്സുകൾ നിരന്തരമായിട്ട് കൊടുത്തു. ഇപ്പോഴും പ്രശ്നം എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്, നേരത്തെ കാലത്ത് 10th റിസൾട്ട് കുറവായത് കൊണ്ട് തന്നെ +2ന്റെ സീറ്റിന് വലിയ പ്രശ്നം ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നില്ല. ഇപ്പൊ എല്ലാ കുട്ടികളും 10th പാസ്സായി, ഇപ്പൊ +2ലേക്ക് സീറ്റ് കിട്ടുന്നില്ല എന്നുള്ള പ്രശ്നം വരുന്നു. വീണ്ടും +2ലും മികച്ച റിസൾട്ട് ഉണ്ട്, പക്ഷെ അതിനനുസരിച്ചുള്ള ഡിഗ്രി സീറ്റുകൾ ഇപ്പോൾ ജില്ലയിൽ ലഭ്യമല്ല. അതും ഇപ്പൊ നമ്മൾ ജില്ലയിൽ മൊത്തം അനുഭവിക്കുന്ന ഒരു പ്രശ്നമാണ്. SLC പിന്നെ 10th കേവലം പെർസെൻറ്റേജ് മാത്രമല്ല, A+ന്റെ എണ്ണത്തിൽ ഞങ്ങൾക്ക് നല്ല വർധനവ് ഉണ്ടായിട്ടുണ്ട്. ഈ കഴിഞ്ഞ വർഷം 6500ഓളം A+കൾ ഉണ്ട്. നേരത്തെ സംസ്ഥാന ശരാശരിയുടെ അടുത്ത് എത്തിയിട്ടുണ്ടായിരുന്നില്ല. ഏകദേശം 9% മേലെ A+ഉം ലഭ്യമാണ്. കഴിഞ്ഞ 2 വർഷമായിട്ട് ജില്ലാ പഞ്ചായത്തിന്റെ ഒരു ലക്ഷ്യം എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് 10% കുട്ടികൾക്ക് A+ലേക്ക് എത്തിക്കുക എന്നുള്ളതാണ്. അതിനടുത്തേക്ക് നമ്മൾ എത്തിക്കൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്നു.
വെരി ഗുഡ്. സമയമില്ലാത്തതുകൊണ്ട് ഞാൻ കൂടുതൽ ചോദിക്കുന്നില്ല. The answer given by Salim is that the outcome has been very dramatic. Earlier, when the program started, there were vacant classes in the +1, +2. Now, there is such a demand. Every year, government is forced to increase the divisions in the +1 and +2. Even this year now, we are going to give you new batches. Secondly, attitude of the people to education has changed, and I think it's very, very important. And that cannot be brought about by government orders. Yeah? Government orders don't change the mind of people. That now, for example, nobody will talk about marrying of the kid before they pass the SLC, which earlier was very common. And so he was narrating a number of such indicators of change in the social behavior. I think it is a very, very good program. But not now, but I would like to know more about, Salim, how this Jilla Panchayat program has been into Grama Panchayat. Do you have any coordination between the program, or you run it in isolation? Yeah, on the presentation is very evident that you link with SSA and so on and so forth. Good. But, you being the district panchayat, the panchayat, Grama Panchayats are the primary players. They're in charge of the LP school. There must be some coordination mechanism with the district panchayat and Grama Panchayat. I'm not pressing for an answer now because the time is limited. Valliyamattam vonna? Valliyamattam? Valliyamattam eppo vannalu interrupt cheyidu ketto. Your program is so impressive. I want to ask you some questions. Iravi Peru hello. So now you started karate classes, yoga classes. You have been a sports school, It's for very
Sports council.
Sports council. Yeah. Now, over time, has the performance of the panchayat improved in the school athletic meet? Have you tried to measure the outcome? ഇത്രയും സ്പോർട്സിൽ ഊന്നൽ ഇപ്പോൾ നടത്തിയ പ്രസന്റേഷൻസിൽ നിങ്ങളുടെ പ്രസന്റേഷനാണ് ഏറ്റവും കൂടുതൽ ഊന്നൽ സ്പോർട്സിന് നൽകിയിട്ടുള്ളത്. അപ്പോൾ ഇത്തരം രീതിയിൽ നിങ്ങൾ ശ്രദ്ധ ചെലുത്തിയതിൻ്റെ ഫലമായിട്ട് സ്പോർട്സിലെ നമുക്ക് അളക്കാൻ പറ്റുന്ന എന്തെങ്കിലും നേട്ടങ്ങൾ പറയാൻ പറ്റുമോ?
Definitely. The continuous intervention in the sports, panchayat level sports, under the annual plan of the panchayat, we got first year we got some district level athletic award, medals, and then the students went up to state level. Last year we got 2 gold medal and 3 silver medal in the national meet. So that is the achievement in the athletics. Whereas in the netball, netball junior level boys and girls champions are Tiruvallur Panchayat Sports Council. So we are the netball champions in state level.
Now there is Ramapuram.
And one more aspect.
Yes.
we couldn't add some more projects of in education sector like school BMCs, school level biodiversity management committees we formed, and that is to prepare a biodiversity management registers in school level. So school BMCs are an old activity. Then school yoga class since 2012. That time the yoga classes in Panchayat annual plan is not possible as per the guideline. So we started campaign for a yoga gram. So yoga gram targeted to what is that implemented in schools also. So school yoga classes started since 2013, and that we couldn't add in the video, in the presentation.
For those who are from outside Kerala, Raveendranath is one of our best all-round panchayats with a lot of innovative programs. Perhaps the most well-known intervention has been in rejuvenating one of the dried-up rivers. The name of the river itself is Varatar, the river that is dried up. So using MGNREGS, they were able to revive that river. So very good, Rajiv. But Velliyamattam Manna.
Thank you.
Velliyamattam. Velliyamattam.
Unmute ചെയ്യണം.
Okay. വെള്ളിയാമറ്റേ ആ മൈക്കൊന്ന് അൺമ്യൂട്ട് ചെയ്യും. ഓ ഹലോ.
ഹലോ.
ഇയാളാരാണ്?
പ്രസിഡന്റ്.
അപ്പൊ എന്റെ ചോദ്യം മനസ്സിലായി. നിങ്ങളുടെ പ്രോഗ്രാം വളരെ നല്ലത്. കാരണം വെച്ച് കഴിഞ്ഞാലേ നിങ്ങളുടെ അവിടുത്തെ പ്രത്യേക സാഹചര്യത്തിന് അനുസൃതമായിട്ടുള്ള വിദ്യാഭ്യാസ പരിപാടി ഉണ്ടാക്കിയിരിക്കുന്നത്. സാധാരണ വെച്ച് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ സർക്കാരിൽ നിന്ന് പറയുന്ന കാര്യങ്ങളെല്ലാം ചേർത്ത് നമ്മളൊരു സ്റ്റീരിയോ ടൈപ്പ് പ്രൊജക്റ്റുകൾ ഉണ്ടാക്കണം. അങ്ങനെയല്ല, നിങ്ങൾ പറഞ്ഞിട്ടുള്ള എല്ലാ ഇനങ്ങളും അവിടുത്തെ ട്രൈബൽ സാഹചര്യങ്ങൾക്ക് അനുയോജ്യമായിട്ടുള്ളതാണ്. അപ്പൊ എന്റെ കൗതുകം, ഇതിന്റെ പിന്നില് നിങ്ങളുടെ കീ ആയിട്ട് വല്ല റിസോഴ്സ് പേഴ്സൺ ഉണ്ടോ, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ പ്രസിഡന്റിന്റെ ചിന്തയാണോ? എങ്ങനെയാണ് ഇങ്ങനെ പ്രോഗ്രാം ഇവോൾവ് ചെയ്തത്? മലയാളത്തിൽ പറഞ്ഞാൽ മതി.
മലയാളത്തിൽ പറഞ്ഞാൽ മതി. ഞാൻ പഠിച്ചത് ട്രൈബൽ സ്കൂളിലാണ്. ഇവിടെ തന്നെ ഞാൻ ജനിച്ചു വളർന്ന നാടാണ്. അപ്പോ എന്റെ സ്കൂളിന്റെ പ്രശ്നങ്ങള് ഏറെക്കുറെ എനിക്ക് ചെറുപ്പം തൊട്ട് അറിയാവുന്നയാളാണ്. പ്രത്യേകിച്ച് പെൺകുട്ടികൾക്ക് ടോയ്ലറ്റ് ഇല്ലാത്ത പ്രശ്നം, അതൊരു വലിയ സങ്കടം ഉണ്ടാക്കിയിട്ടുള്ള കാര്യമാണ്. അതുകൊണ്ട് തന്നെ ഫസ്റ്റ് പ്രയോറിറ്റി കൊടുത്തത് നമ്മുടെ ഗവൺമെന്റ് സ്കൂളുകൾക്കെല്ലാം ഗേൾസ് ഫ്രണ്ട്ലി ടോയ്ലറ്റ് പണിയുന്നതിന് വേണ്ടിയിട്ടാണ്. അത് വെറുതെ ഫ്രണ്ട്ലി ആയിട്ടുള്ള ടോയ്ലറ്റ് അല്ല ഉദ്ദേശിച്ചത്, ഇൻസിനറേറ്റർ, ഷീപാഡ് അടക്കമുള്ള അങ്ങനെയുള്ള ടോയ്ലറ്റ്. 4 ഗവൺമെന്റ് സ്കൂളാണുള്ളത്. 4 സ്കൂളിനും ഗേൾസ് ഫ്രണ്ട്ലി ടോയ്ലറ്റ് പണി തീർത്തു കഴിഞ്ഞു. കേൾക്കുന്നുണ്ടോ സർ?
Okay, okay. We'll have to come back to your comment earlier. The president, he studied in the same school and therefore knew about the problems faced by children, particularly girls in the school, and so on. So one thing she focused after becoming the president was improving the school. And there is one more panchayat, Ramapuram Panchayat. ഞാൻ നിങ്ങളുടെ പ്രസന്റേഷൻ കാണാൻ കഴിഞ്ഞില്ല. ബട്ട് നിങ്ങൾ സ്മാർട്ട് ക്ലാസ് റൂംസ് നിങ്ങളുടെ വേറെ പ്രസന്റേഷനിൽ ഞാനത് കണ്ടു. രാമപുരം പഞ്ചായത്തിന് യു ആർ മേക്കിംഗ് another presentation on child friendly panchayat അല്ലേ? I remember. Now my question, for ഞാനതുകൊണ്ട് സ്മാർട്ട് ക്ലാസ് റൂമിനെ കുറിച്ച് ചോദിക്കുന്നില്ല. I am leaving that. ഞാൻ ചോദിക്കുന്നത് ഈ ബയോഡൈവേഴ്സിറ്റി ഗാർഡൻസിനെ കുറിച്ച്. ഈ കേരള സർക്കാർ ബയോഡൈവേഴ്സിറ്റി ഗാർഡൻ പ്രൊമോട്ട് ചെയ്യാൻ തുടങ്ങിയതിന് ശേഷമാണോ നിങ്ങൾ തുടങ്ങിയത്, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ അതിക്ക് മുമ്പാണോ? 2, മറ്റ് പ്രദേശങ്ങളിലുള്ള ബയോഡൈവേഴ്സിറ്റി പാർക്കിനേക്കാൾ വ്യത്യസ്തത എന്തെങ്കിലും നിങ്ങളുടെ സ്കൂൾ ബയോഡൈവേഴ്സിറ്റി പാർക്കുകൾക്കുണ്ടോ? രാമപുരം
നമസ്കാരം സാർ.
ഇയാള് തന്നെ പ്രസന്റ് ചെയ്ത്?
അതെ അതെ, അന്ന് ഞാനായിരുന്നു.
മറന്നു വിചാരിച്ച. ഓക്കെ, ഗോ ഹെഡ്.
സാറേ, 2018-19 വർഷത്തില് സംസ്ഥാന ജൈവ വൈവിധ്യ ബോർഡിന്റെ മികച്ച പഞ്ചായത്തുകൾക്കുള്ള അവാർഡുകളിൽ 20 പഞ്ചായത്തുകളെ തെരഞ്ഞെടുത്തതിൽ ഒന്നാണ് രാമപുരം ഗ്രാമപഞ്ചായത്ത്. ഇതിൽ നിന്ന് ലഭിച്ച 5 ലക്ഷം രൂപ വെച്ചാണ് നമ്മൾ എഴുതിരി ഗവൺമെന്റ് LP സ്കൂളില് ജൈവ വൈവിധ്യ പാർക്കും നക്ഷത്ര ഉദ്യാനവും തുടങ്ങിയത്. കൂടാതെ പൊതുവിദ്യാഭ്യാസ സംരക്ഷണ യജ്ഞത്തിന്റെ ഭാഗമായിട്ട് കുട്ടികളെ സ്കൂളുകളിലേക്ക് ആകർഷിക്കുവാൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ട് നമ്മൾ അവിടെ പഴയ കാലത്തെ തൂക്കുപാലം, ഏറുമാടം, ഗുഹ മുതലായവയും അവിടെ സെറ്റ് ചെയ്തിരുന്നു.
Yeah, same. For those who don't follow Malayalam, the answer is that they started with the biodiversity board, with the experiment with the biodiversity gardens. And then the government of Kerala itself began to promote a biodiversity garden school. In fact, the beginning was in the school, Koladi school of our education minister. I have gone there. It has not only around 300 types of species of plants and trees and so on in one school, but also cow, chicken, ducks, and even one kite, all maintained by the children. So that the campus itself becomes a textbook. That's how he described that. So of course that was a big inspiration, but they started earlier. Now let me just conclude. It's getting very late already. What I want to say is, one, I am very happy to see that it is not stereotype. The program ഒരുപാട് വ്യത്യാസങ്ങളുണ്ട്. So that is very good. But I'm certain, though I didn't have the time to get the details from you, my conviction is, ഈ വിദ്യാഭ്യാസ മേഖലയിലാണ് ജനങ്ങളുടെ participation the highest. It's not a project being implemented by local government. Local government is a catalyst. See, when we talk about decentralization under people's planning, we were not visualizing panchayats to be yet another miniature government at the local level. Just to be truly different, a type of government where people participate not only decision-making process, like in, say, for example, participatory budgeting in Latin America, but main difference between participatory budgeting and people's planning, we very consciously chose, is that people participate not only in decision through the Grama Sabha or the representatives at local level, but you create a large number of forums at local level. Various types of beneficiary committees, monetary committees, parent teachers association, school management committees, class PTAs. In every sector, so many fora are promoted so that people can participate in the implementation of the project. And this popular participation and initiative has been highest in education. In fact, that would account for the very surprising turnaround in Kerala's public education. Initially, like in health sector, the impact of decentralized education was not very dramatic. The number of students in the public education system continue to decline. ഇല്ലേ? ആദ്യത്തെ 10-15 വർഷക്കാലം ജനകീയ ആസൂത്രണം കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ടും കുട്ടികളുടെ എണ്ണം കുറഞ്ഞുകൊണ്ടേയിരുന്നു. പക്ഷെ കുറഞ്ഞു വന്നു. And in the last 7-8 years, particularly the last 4 years, things have dramatically changed. എന്ത് വന്നാലും കേരളത്തില് 5 ലക്ഷം കുട്ടികൾ ഇപ്പുറത്ത് വന്ന് ചേർന്നല്ലോ. That's a big achievement. See, 5 lakh students in the unaided sector have come back to the public education system. Of course, number of students increasing won't be that high. because 10 standards go out and that has been deducted. But the number of students in the public education system has increased. Second, the Niti Aayog index, quality of education index. Kerala has been ranked high first. And this improvement also is rapidly happening. The issue that has been raised in the discussion by the panelists was that, very rightly also, that we are emphasizing on IT in education, e-learning, but it shouldn't become a technophobia, you know. That's not. I think Jivan Babu responded to it. You see, it's a very creative exercise. The Samagra portal, if you get time, you should visit that. It is teachers, thousands of them from all over Kerala. They improvise on their presentations because now a guide test won't do of teaching using the digital media. And that is uploaded into the Samagra. And then they freely download, we think is more appropriate. So it's become a very creative field. And I think the best performing student club in schools is Little Kites, IT club, IT innovations, entrepreneurship, and so on. What are little things they do? But I think it is a very rapidly growing thing. In fact, many schools, my schools, for example, we have now interlinked the classrooms, and we have studio in each of the classrooms, so that, you know, we hope we are thinking this academic year we will start school news program of 10 minutes every day, each news being telecast by one classroom, and to go round and round. And once in a month, we would have a telecast from the block panchayat headquarters. So it has been very innovatively used. Very importantly, now this is a fundamental change that is taking place in the school system. Every classroom has now a laptop, a projector, touch screen. Not some schools only touch, others widescreen, and so on. And it's a big event. Now, if you want to that one, you have to maintain your classroom. See, it can be locked and safe. You have to re-electrify it and so on. And perhaps if such a new technology is coming, you have to change the furniture. You know, ushering the technology was a moment when you rallied the entire panchayat, alumni, everybody to improve the infrastructure of the school. In my place, our panchayat started a festival to welcome the computer. Now, how do they welcome? Ensuring that every child knew alphabet. Unfortunately, many didn't know. So special classes and so on to ensure that everybody had learned the alphabet and numbers. By the time this computer came, so you use it as a nodal event where which a whole lot of activities take place. And these are not organized directly by the panchayat, the PTA. Today, for example, in Manorama, I think, what teachers Kutaimagal in so many places, what they have been doing. And mind you, almost every one of them is related to IT. So I would say definitely panchayats did play a very important role, and government put in more investment into the education system. But we were successful in promoting a large number of participatory fora at the local level, which effectively is involving various stakeholders into the local level education process, which is having a positive impact. So, ഞാൻ പ്രസിഡന്റ്മാരെ പറഞ്ഞതെന്ന് വെച്ച് കഴിഞ്ഞാല് നമ്മുടെ പഞ്ചായത്ത് മാത്രമല്ല, PTA, സ്കൂൾ മാനേജ്മെന്റ് കമ്മിറ്റി, ഞങ്ങളുടെ അവിടെയൊക്കെ ക്ലാസ് PTA ഉണ്ട്, ദെൻ വിഷയത്തിന് ക്ലബ്ബുകളുണ്ട്, അങ്ങനെ ഇങ്ങനെ ഒരുപാട് നമ്മുടെ പഞ്ചായത്തുകളുടെ പ്രത്യേകത ഇതാണ്. നമ്മുടെ പ്രാദേശിക ഭരണത്തിന്റെ നമ്മള് ഈ ഗ്രാമസഭ കൂടി കാര്യം തീരുമാനിക്കുന്നത് അവസാനിപ്പിക്കുന്നില്ല. നിർവഹണത്തിനും ജനപങ്കാളിത്തം കൊണ്ടുവരാൻ വേണ്ടി പലതരത്തിലുള്ള കീഴ്ത്തട്ട് ഫോറങ്ങൾ ഉണ്ടാക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. ഈ വിദ്യാഭ്യാസ മേഖലയിലാണ് ഇത് ഏറ്റവും വിജയകരമായിട്ട് അങ്ങ് വളർന്നു വന്നിട്ടുള്ളത്. നിങ്ങളതിനാലോചിച്ച് നോക്കിയാൽ മതി, PTA വഹിക്കുന്ന പങ്ക് എത്രയെന്നുള്ളത്, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ അധ്യാപകരുടെ കൂട്ടായ്മകൾ, അങ്ങനെ പലതും. നമ്മള് പഞ്ചായത്ത് ചെയ്യുന്നത് ഇതിൻ്റെയൊക്കെ ഏകോപനക്കാര്, കോർഡിനേറ്റർ ആയിട്ട് മാറലാണ്. ദാറ്റ്സ് വാട്ട് വി ആർ ഡൂയിങ്. സോ കൺഗ്രാറ്റുലേഷൻസ് ടു എവരിബഡി. And water thanks separated and I don't take that duty.
ബഹുമാനപ്പെട്ട മന്ത്രി പറഞ്ഞതുപോലെ എല്ലാവർക്കും അഭിനന്ദനങ്ങൾ. Lastly, out of thanks, esteemed representatives of self-government, Honorable Minister of Course, and dear panelists, and all those friends of Kila, Gift, and Head the Kerala Mission who have logged in online. As I've said when I was in my opening remarks, this is the 8th very widely attended session. And thanks to, this is made it so far a great success because of the involvement of all concerned. And today was no exception. As the minister rightly said, all of you made very impressive record of your hard work that you have done, and I'm very sure it will have rich social dividends. Thank you very much for the consistent work that you are doing and the cooperation that you are extending with us. And in this dimension, I have to thank, of course, the staff of Kila, of course, the staff in Guwahati Institute, and Dr. Seema could not make it today due to unexpected reasons, and we are ever thankful to her because of her very encouraging involvement in the whole affair. And thank you very much. Let me also inform you that on next Saturday, we will meet at 2:30 with an equally important topic, climate change, biodiversity, and disaster management. Thank you once again, and bye.